Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here, welcome back to Granblue Fantasy Relink. Thank you so much for joining me here on stream. Welcome in, Hakaze, it's good to see you. Trey, hello, hello, congratulations on being first. Ash, hello, welcome in. Hope you guys are all doing well today. A little short afternoon stream because I wanted to play the new Granblue update, which came out 2 days ago. And this seemed like a good time, squeezed it in between our Eiyuden streams. So this update brings us 2 new playable characters, Seofon and Tweyen, as well as 2 new raid battles, and a few little bug fixes and character adjustments. So not like a huge update, but the characters are kind of the main thing that most people are excited about. Yeah, hello guys, hope you're all doing well. I know some people have already started playing all this stuff, and I'll talk a little bit about the background of these characters for those of you that might not be super familiar with Granblue lore. So we'll try the new raids, we'll recruit the new characters, and then we'll do their fate episodes today. So 2 new quests. There's like the eyeball, and then there's the behemoth. And the nice thing about this is that the 2 new characters, you can either purchase, pay real money, and then get them immediately, or you could grind and get them, and it actually doesn't take too long. According to my friend Drago, it took them about like 11 or so runs, give or take, to get all the things they needed to get the characters, which was approximately under 3 hours. So you could definitely get the characters for free, which is really nice of them to do, I think. They also added exercising emotes, so you could do like push-ups and sit-ups with the characters, and color palette 9, which is just a pure golden color palette, as well as some item packs as well. So I have not played this game since the last update, which was when Lucilius came out, and me and Onerio beat him on day 1. And since then, I have not touched this game. I have not gone back in to farm Lucilius. I have not come back in and really done anything extra, because going into Lucilius, I already had like a near perfect build before that patch. And all my characters are pretty much upgraded as much as I needed at the time. But since Lucilius came out, there's like new builds using his special sigils and stuff, and I just haven't farmed them out. So again, I haven't played this game in like over a month, so excuse me if my performance is not as good as it used to be. I gotta relearn my button muscle memory. So new quest is available. Gulp, and then lock horns. And then new things available at Kirostyle. We can also transmute multiple things at once, which is really nice quality of life. Character unique sigils are available at the Knickknack Shack. Oh yeah, there's new character unique sigils as well. So these are the tickets you need to get the 2 new characters. You need Supreme Weapon Essences, and you can get Supreme Weapon Essences by trading in Revenant Medallions.
We have a wide selection of sigils.
And then it looks like they have a bunch of new sigils for us to check out. They just cost regular materials, so that's nice. Although I seem to be lacking a lot of these materials. Oh, there's a new Crab Maration as well. Greater Aegis. An auto potion, huh? Okay, that's neat. We'll check those out later. Oh yeah, they also made it so that if you go back through the main story quests, even if you've already picked up the crabs, you can go pick up the crabs again and listen to all the different characters' reactions to picking up the crabs. Because usually if you pick them up once, you don't get to hear it again.
Never hurts to have some backup, right?
Then we have our 2 new characters, Seofon, Tweyen, and then I'll talk about the claiming add-ons in a bit.
Sending out the old crew signal, eh?
So these 2 characters, I'll explain a little bit about their backstory for people that are new to Granblue. So these characters are part of a group called the Eternals, And the Eternals are like the strongest skyfarers in the skies. So in Granblue, the mobile game, there's 10 of them, and each of them corresponds to a weapon. So Seofon corresponds to swords, Tweyen is bow. If you play Granblue Versus, you'll be familiar with Anre, he represents lances or spears, and Seox represents fists or melee weapons. There's 10 of them in total. In Japanese, their names are all the names of numbers 1 through 10, but in different languages. So Seofon is siete, Tweyen is song, Anre is uno, Seox is 6. So in the English translations, they changed their names, so they're still the numbers 1 through 10, but they're the numbers 1 through 10 in Latin, I believe. I think the reason I want to guess one of the reasons why they changed it is because obviously Seox or 6 doesn't sound very cool because his name was just the number 6 in English. So they just changed all of them, I guess. I personally think they should have only changed 6's name to Seox and kept everyone else the same, because I still call them by their Japanese name. So if I say Siete, I'm talking about Seofon. If I say Song, I'm talking about Tweyen. In the mobile game, these are characters that are very, very powerful, and they're powerful in lore, but they're also powerful in the game. Furthermore, you don't get them from rolling the gacha, so you don't just roll the gacha and get them. You actually have to grind for them, and the grind used to be pretty long, and now it's streamlined, so it's a little bit easier to help people catch up. But because the Eternals are so strong, they're constantly like updating them. So when they released the Eternals, it was a big grind to get them. And then when a lot of people started getting them, then they made it so you could uncap them from level 80 to level 100. And that required an even bigger grind. So a lot of people were doing that for a while. And then over time, that became easier and people didn't have such a hard time doing it. Then they made it so you can uncap them up to 150 in increments of 10. They're the only characters that can go over level 100 right now in the game. And you have to like grind to get them from level 100 to level 110, and then 110 to 120 is a different grind, and then 120 to 130, and then 130 to 140, and then 140 to 150 is a different grind. So every time they've updated them, they've become very powerful and part of the meta. Like usually the Eternals are part of the meta, but then over time, as people get them, and as new characters come out, they get power crept, so then they'll release an update and then make them strong again and make them really meta, and then they'll get power crept again, and then they'll get really strong again, and then the power crept. It's an eternal cycle. It's called the Eternals for a reason. Furthermore, to get them, a lot of times the items you need to grind are linked to a specific event that happens in the game called Unite and Fight. In Japanese, it's called Guild Wars, and I've talked about this one before. But Guild Wars is notorious because it's an event that happens once every about 2 months, and you and your crew, which is like your guild, compete against other crews to see who could kill the most number of enemies the fastest and the most efficiently, more or less. So every Guild Wars, there's 2 enemies that always appear. There's the eyeball enemy, and then there's the behemoth, and then there's like a special enemy that is specific to that Guild Wars. Each time the Guild Wars is specific to a different element. So we have 6 elements. We usually do about 6 Guild Wars a year. So each Guild War in a year has an element. You basically have to farm, and you compete against other people, and people go really intense. People literally, especially in Japan, will take days off work to grind Guild Wars because you get really good rewards for doing well in Guild Wars. To the point where they actually enforced like a time period where you can't play it so that people in Japan can sleep. So like they close off Guild Wars for a couple hours or a few hours every day during nighttime in Japan so people can sleep, because people have historically gone overboard and hurt themselves by farming nonstop in Guild Wars, which is insane. Now, the thing is that because it's Japan time zones, it doesn't really work so well for everyone else in the world, especially us in North America. So you have to kind of deal with it. And sometimes, you know, like if you're grinding in North America and then you have to go to sleep, but Guild Wars is still ongoing, so you might wake up and suddenly like your opponent has overtaken you by a lot because they've been grinding throughout the night. And then you can't play during like the morning and early afternoon because that's nighttime for them, so then they get a break and then you can't play when you're awake. So It's a bit of a flawed system, but a lot of people like it because you do get a lot of really good rewards for it. It's also kind of a good measure of how strong you are in the game. As you play the game, subsequent guild wars, you can kind of feel yourself getting stronger and stronger and getting higher scores and higher scores over time, which is kind of neat. It also just kind of brings the entire community together. There's usually a lot of memes that come out of guild wars, which is weird for an event that is just about fighting the same enemies over and over again, but somehow there always are some memes, whether it be about the boss, or the mechanics of the boss, or everyone's shared suffering, or what the optimal party composition is. There's always memes that come out of guild wars. So you basically farm guild wars to get special weapons that are only available during guild wars, which correspond to unlocking the Eternals. So that's why in this game, you can unlock the Eternals by grinding, and the enemies you grind are the Eyeball and the Behemoth, which are Guild Wars enemies. I think it's really nice, though, that they made it so you can just pay to get them right away. Like, it's not that expensive. I don't think it's worth it, but like, if you just really want to get them and you don't want to, you know, grind. And also, the Eyeball is an extreme level quest, so not too hard. The Behemoth is a proud level quest, but he's not as strong as, like, Bahamut or Lucilius or any of those ones. So it's an easier proud quest. So they're meant to be like a bridging gap between extreme and proud. Or sorry, maniac and proud. But if you're not strong enough, then you just pay, and then you can get them right away, and then you can use them earlier in the story or whatnot. So it's kind of nice that they give you that option, especially if, let's say, you're a big Seofon fan, and you really want to play this game, and you don't want to wait to get him because you're new. So that's a little bit of backstory about the Eternals. And welcome in, Lork. Thank you so much for joining us today. My party's still the same as before. I think I should be fine. I'll use the Eyeball to warm up and remember how to play.
Good day. Here are the details.
Let's pick up my daily gold ticket while I'm at it.
Let's see.
Gulp, so these are the rumored monsters. Defeat as many foes as possible. Ah yes, this is very Guild Wars.
Here are the details.
One of our construction sites on Fondom was attacked by these Signa, I don't know what, Signa, that's the eyeball things, looking beasties, and I don't think they're done with us yet. Feel free to use any of our equipment to dispatch the foul things. So you get a Revenant Medallion for the first time clear. You get a Greater Aegis, that's nice. Oh, but it's only number 4. And apparently these are also really good for farming the Fortitude Crystals, which I am always in desperate need of.
We're counting on you.
Okay. Oh yeah, they also added it so that you can have a mini map during most of the story quests too, which is kind of nice. And you can overlay it on top of your screen, so you can walk around with the map out. Okay, let me remember how to play. Hiya! This is guard. This is dodge. Looks like there's some cannons. Hey, Angora, welcome in. Oh, is this mostly a cannon quest? Oh, there's a biggin. They're dying too quickly for me to hit. I hear that Guild Wars music.
Looks like we got a second to catch our breath before things heat up again. Looks like we've got guests. We'll give them a big welcome.
Oh, I can't hit the ones over there.
Just keep coming. We'll show 'em who's boss.
Is there a crossover between the soundtrack to the mobile game and Relink? Yes, so Relink, a lot of the music in Relink is remixes or rearrangements of the ones from the mobile game. There's a couple unique tracks, but most of them are rearrangements or remixes. There might be a couple tracks that are just directly taken from the mobile game, but I don't. You might have to listen more carefully, because a lot of the rearrangements are very close. So it's like very similar. But the mobile game has an amazing soundtrack, so honestly, they could just take it directly and it'd just be fine. How long does this go for? Oh, it actually has a timer. 1 minute left.
Looking good so far. You got this. What do you think?
Oh, you recognize some of it from the anime. That makes sense. They probably used a bunch of it from the anime as well.
I'm beat. Can we take 5? Looks like we've got guests. Go give 'em a big welcome. There's still enemies left, but you can take them. Come, Crimson Unfurl your love. Thank you. What do you think? They just keep coming. But we'll show 'em who's boss. We're in the home stretch now.
Hey, Sai, welcome in.
Watch out. Here they come. Crimson Thorn. They're here! Everything worked out in the end.
Come on! We're the challenge!
Okay. Nice. So again, if you're kind of new-ish to this game, you can farm this for Revenant medallions to trade in for the Supreme Weapon Essences. Oh, you do get quite a bit of crystals. That's nice. And apparently these new quests drop sigils that you normally only get from Kiros, like supplementary damage. So I'm going to probably be farming the Behemoth for some nice supplementary damage 5+s, because I don't have any of those yet. We also got quite a bit of MSP from that too. Not that I need it, but...
Need something?
Cool.
Which will it be?
Let's try the other one. Oh, it's a Maniac quest, isn't it? No, it's a Proud quest, isn't it? There it is. Lock Horns. Defeat the Behemoth.
Will you take this one?
So... Oh, so he's between Bahamut and Lucilius. He's higher than Bahamut in terms of advised power level, but I don't think he's as hard. I guess we'll see. I'm sure I can do this with CPUs.
What do you say? Will you accept
It just won't be as efficient. You get Supreme Weapon Essences. You get some nice sigils. And these new items. Crown of Lament, Wing of Portent. First time clear, you get a Supreme Weapon Essence. Yeah, no meat drops. In Guild Wars, you farm these enemies for meat, and then you use the meat to bait stronger enemies. Hey Aru, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. So something strange appears to be happening in Fondom's depths. No one's sure why, but a bunch of monsters are duking it out with each other over, get this, meat. Yeah, you heard right. Anyway, let's get rid of them before they start craving other kinds of meat. Catch my drift? A description. Hey Timbit, welcome to the stream. Yeah, oh no, this time we're the meat.
Best of luck.
Wait, I should make sure
Good day. Well then.
my CPUs are equipped. Because I change their skills when I'm not controlling them. So I'm gonna give Cagliostro... No. I'm gonna give Cagliostro a revive. Gran, you can also have a revive. Save my ass. Wait, do I already have... Wait, I have Decimate, I have Panchea, I have Clarity. Yeah, here, okay, revive. Wait, no, I wanted to replace Decimate. Not Armor Break. There. What about Rosetta? Is Rosetta good? Yeah, she's fine. Okay, let's see how hard this is with just a bunch of CPUs. I don't think it should be that bad, but who knows? How do I lock onto him again? Oh, there we go. I just took all that to the face. Oh, they're playing an arrangement of Platinum Sky. Like a slow arrangement of it.
Oh no, be careful.
I can't tell what's dangerous. The whole ground is dangerous. The floor is lava, except for the middle. Oh, we're fine.
What do you think?
He doesn't jump around too much either. Oh dang it! I say that right as he dodges my attack.
Let's roll.
Wait, I have phalanx. I should be phalanxing.
Watch out, everybody!
Actually, no. I'll phalanx now. Just having a little bit of a tantrum here. Oh, Grand Cagliostro, why don't you have your Skybounds up? Oh, you thought it turned into Golden Beast for a second? Actually, that would have been really cool. In Guild Wars, sometimes when you fight the Behemoth, there's a random chance you fight a Golden Behemoth instead, and it gives you extra drops.
Thank you, dear.
I should stop healing myself right away, because then all my computers use heal on me, and then I don't have anything to heal. This thing is mobile for a biggin. There's so much purple on the screen all the time. I missed my Skybound. He has ads. Oh, I thought I missed again.
I have you covered.
Loud and clear. Shine is one. Absolute zero. Our muscles were totally
Could have gone a little easier.
understood. And ring. Looking good.
Get him. Hey, Kiros, welcome in. Glad to see you today. How goes the beating of the buff doggo? It's going very well, actually. I feel like he might be easier than Piete. Which is good. I think I like this level of difficulty. Because Bahamut's a little bit too regimented. And then Lucilius is too hard for doing with like CPUs.
Care to join me? Excellent follow.
I missed the link attack.
Easy lemon squeezy.
Come now. Stay strong for me.
Just who do you think I am?
Yeah, he kind of has the zoomies. He just zooms around everywhere. It kind of reminds me of the behemoths from Final Fantasy 16, how they like do like these shoulder tackles that go really, really far.
Let's patch you up. Appreciate it. One for all.
He is charging everywhere. Yeah, Sandalphon's coming with the next update in May. Although I heard that some people were data mining him already. Oh yeah, so I didn't mention this because this was after. Last time when we played this game and we were trying to get Lucilius groups and we couldn't get matched with anyone, apparently it's because the servers were down. And because people were hacking into the game and using Sandalphon's assets. And so they had to like block down the servers or something like that. And that's why we couldn't get a matchmaking group. That's why we had to make a room. He's really zooming around now. Get him.
I have you covered.
Loud and clear. Not now, not ever. Shine is one. Absolute zero. Our muscles were totally
Could have gone a little easier.
His overdrive bar is very tanky. Even just his regular bar seems to take a while to fill up compared to some of the other bosses.
Care to join me?
Well, finally, Link time.
I agree.
It's kind of funny, he's just glowing purple. I think it's because Rosetta's poisoning him. Ow. I'm running around. Finally! Oh, I actually probably shouldn't have skybounded him now. Oh well.
I'll soften them up.
You can't hide. Meet this sucker.
Ready to deliver. Tempest flame. Shine
Get him!
Our muscles were totally communicating.
A little easier.
I feel the power.
Nice. Look at me zipping past him. Kieran, welcome in. Thank you so much for the stretch. I really appreciate it.
Last of them, which means quest complete.
Let's see what I got.
Okay. I'll take it. Nice.
Okay, I got some new mats.
Okay.
Ooh, a silver centrum. Always could use those. Morning, Kieran. Hope you're doing well.
Mission complete.
Hope your trip's going well.
Food.
You seem to be enjoying yourself from your tweets. That's great. Okay, A rank, not too bad for a bunch of CPUs. Death Nail. Curios. Some more Ruffinium. I think that fight was fun. Even though it's placed between Bahamut and Lucilius, I feel like it's easier than Piet A. And I like it more because, like, Bahamut is very regimented. It's very, like, do this at this time with this timing and do this, get on the cannons, etc. It doesn't really feel like a regular fight in this game. And Lucilius is a little bit too hard for just casual farming with a bunch of CPUs. So this fight is almost on the same level as Piet A, but without all the like the ad mechanics or the enrage stuff. I think that's like the perfect level of difficulty for a proud quest to farm that isn't exceptionally annoying. So I like that. That's good. I'm glad that they're adding more quests alongside the new characters. Now, hey Nakyo, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. So, like I said, in order to get the new characters,
What you in the market for?
oh, you have obtained unique treasure. They can be traded for a special crewmate card via treasure trade.
Not everyone gets to see the good stuff, you know.
So to get these two cards, you trade in Supreme Weapon Essences. You get like one guaranteed for your first clears. Then after that, you might get them, but you can also trade for them using Revenant Medallions. So Drago said it took him under 3 hours to get everything he needed with human party members. About 11 behemoths, give or take. Now, for me, because I'm streaming and I want this to be one succinct video, you guys don't want to watch me fight the behemoth 11 times in one stream, and I don't want to fight the behemoth 11 times in one stream. So I actually went ahead and purchased them. I do not recommend purchasing the characters. Honestly, just farm it yourself. I'm doing this for the purposes of stream efficiency. So I am not condoning buying the packs. I'm just saying for stream efficiency. I mean, I'm going to be farming the behemoth anyways. I'm going to need materials from him, and I'm going to want his supplementary damage 5+ sigils. So, but I'm doing this for the sake of the stream because I want to do Seofon and Tweyen's Fate episodes today, and that will easily take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to go through if they're anything like the other ones. So the nice thing is, if you do purchase them though, they come with Damascus ingots for Seofon and Ambrosia for Tweyen, and they also come with sigils for each of them. Also, the nice thing about both of these characters is that they only have 2 weapons in the game. They have a Defender and an Ascension. They don't have a Terminus weapon, so you don't have to go back to Proto Bahamut. But their Ascension weapon comes with the Catastrophe sigil, so it still functions like a Terminus weapon. So I'll take this. I'll take this. And I also bought the new emotes, of course. Push up, sit up, and squat. While I was at it, I also bought these two. This one gives me an extra war elemental. I already have one for Vayne, but I'm gonna give one to one of my CPUs, so my CPUs are stronger because I don't have any extras. And I also bought this one because it has a supplementary damage 5, which I don't have, but of course you want a supplementary damage 5 plus, which I also don't have, so this will be like a stop hold in the middle. Wait, you have too many of these items. Oh, I have too many Fortitude crystals. Trey! A small contribution towards the characters. Oh, thank you, Trey. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah, this game always has more stuff to grind. Thank you for all your support. I guess I might as well use some of my Fortitude crystals while I'm here. Level up. Auto level. That gave me a lot of crystals, actually.
Leave it to me. It's a great success. Thanks for coming. Take care.
That means I can get these.
Let's hit the bucks. Cagliostro doesn't believe in limits.
Okay, now I can pick up my stuff.
Hello to you.
Let's get our new characters.
I just got some rare stuff. Got some goodies for ya. Here you go.
Give this card to Shirokarte and she'll call in a new crewmate for you.
Good luck out there.
First, I want to try out my new emotes. Push-ups. Bonario was saying that it's funny how the characters are like grunting and stuff while they're doing push-ups and sit-ups, yet we know that they're all like impossibly inhumanely strong, so push-ups should not be giving them any trouble. Gotta get that
Gotta blast these abs.
exercise ASMR, right? You just say we gotta blast these abs.
3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3,
That's cute.
4, 5, 6.
It's like how in Final Fantasy XIV you can get the push-up, sit-up, and the squat emotes from the squadron stuff. Now this is funny. Someone told me about this.
Exercise. Don't be silly.
Don't be silly.
This isn't my style at all.
This isn't my style at all.
Sorry. Never again.
Someone made the joke. Imagine paying money just to have Cagliostro tell you that she doesn't want to do exercise.
Ew, gross. No sweat allowed. What if I wrinkle my dress? Not in this lifetime.
Apparently, and she's not the only one. She doesn't even say anything.
My. I could never. Sorry. You want me to do what now? I think I'll pass. Oh my. That sounds too physical.
Oh, Rosetta. Actually, I want to see what Goza does. I bet his is hilarious.
You have chosen well.
Oh, look at this! Look at him! How does this beard stay aloft? Hey Mumu, welcome to the stream. You know what they should have done is when he does the push-ups, they should speed up his animation by like 10 times, so he just becomes like a blur.
Remove all doubt. 1, 2, 3,
Even his whiskers have muscles.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Farewell, weakness.
Actually... Oh shoot, last time I played this game I had my volume on low. Oh, that's why it's been so low this entire time. I'm sorry. Hope guys were still able to hear everything. Maybe that might be too high. You guys good? You guys good? You can still hear everyone exercising?
Yes. The rage fuels me.
Ooh, hope I turned off the stove.
It's actually really funny. Okay, when they were showing off, when they were doing the stream, the Granblue Relink stream, the other day and talking about this update, they were also showing off all the statistics. And of course, like, Naramaya was topping all the charts. Like, most used character, most first recruited character that people got their, like, weapons for maxed out first, etc, etc. Naramaya, Naramaya, Naramaya. And then there were, like, no males in, like, the top 5 for, like, anything. Except for, like, I think Rackham got, like, second place for story quest usage, since you obviously get him pretty early in the story. And then, I think the achievement that the least people have in the game is like the one for getting all of Ganda Goza's. Oh no, it's the one for beating Bahamut Versa 5 times with Ganda Goza. Like, is apparently the rarest achievement in the game, because no one plays Ganda Goza, which is so sad because I think he's pretty cool. It's a shame that his gameplay just is not that good. One of the players in your Dungeons and Dragons campaign stopped playing their character and rolled a Naramaya clone. I feel so sorry for you. Rest in peace.
What you in the market for?
She is so popular. Like, she is so popular. I hate it.
Sending out the old crew signal, eh?
Okay, let's try our new characters. This man leads the Eternals, a group of 10 weapon masters, also known as the Star Sword Sovereign. Seofon collects spirit swords from defeated opponents and channels that spirit energy to manifest them onto the battlefield. You can think of 2 big reasons why.
Star Sword Sovereign Sova. Is here to save the day.
a lot of people in the fandom also call him as a nickname Smugface, because his default portrait looks like this, and he has this face all the time. Ooh, we got a sticker for him too. The world's most powerful eyebrows.
Great. The welcome squad is here.
Seofon leaves a crew known as the Eternals, comprised of 10 weapon masters. He collects spirit swords, employing them as complements to his dual-wielding style. Seofon creates various combos using X and Y. Completing a combo fills his avatar gauge. He's the avatar. Press Y to summon an avatar to join Seofon's attacks. Combos and skills are enhanced while an avatar is summoned, but the avatar gauge depletes throughout the summoning. Hey, Key Energy! Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Seofon is very, like, unintentionally goofy. I don't even sure it's unintentional. I mean, it's unintentional on his part, but it's intentional on the writers, for sure.
Cat and mouse. Hungo. Sorry. More where this came from. Cat and mouse. Let's play.
Yeah, you keep saying cat and mouse.
Oh look, it's raining swords! Surprise! Have some death! Oops, made to look. Dodge if you can! And pasta!
Okay, let's try his avatar.
Let's go!
And he changes his outfit into the 5-star outfit. I don't usually like the 5-star outfits because they lose the cape, but...
Sorry! More where this came from.
But it looks cool when he has, like, the cosmic cape.
One blade, one victory! Over here! Bye-bye! Not a chance!
Ooh.
Hungo! You're done! That all you got? Cat and mouse!
Cat and mouse.
Not a chance! Hungo! That's gonna sting!
Let's get his skybound up.
Tasty! Infinito creare! Oh yeah, taste the blade! Ha! Thought you had me? Sorry! Out of my way! Hungo! Cat and mouse! Hungo!
Taste of your super!
Now, the finale! The sword sovereign reveals his strength! 100,000 espadas!
Ooh. That was cool. See what his idol animations look like. Seofon? You gonna do anything? Hello? Nothing? I've definitely seen him do idle animations on people's streams. He has no idle animations because he's always idle. Okay, fine. Maybe it's because I'm in combat, but I'm pretty sure people still, if you don't attack for long enough, people do their idols anyways. That's fine. So next we move on to Tweyen. This world-class hunter is the bow master of the Eternals. Not only can her supernatural eyes pinpoint prey across enormous distances, she commands the ability to fly. Each magic arrow fired from her bow finds its mark without fail. So, funny thing, Relink, when they first showed it off like many years ago, Matera was supposed to be in this game, but then as they continued developing it, they took her out. So the game doesn't actually have like a bow user until now. Maybe she's like a replacement for Matera in a way.
Make way for Tweyen. The Eternal Archer offers her aid.
Maximum punishment.
I'll take them.
Master of the bow and a member of the Eternals, all foes fall prey to Tweyen's archery. Armed with her magical bow and the ability to fly, she excels at long-range combat. Tweyen creates various combos with X and Y. Charging Y can allow her to fire at multiple foes simultaneously. Landing attacks and skills raises her Ultra Sight level, which then increases the number of arrows fired from a charged multi-lock hail. Gotta fly! Ooh!
Even shadows won't hide you.
Oh, she has mirror image.
Wipe them out. Eat this. Fire. I've got you now. Valiant Reed. Between the eyes. Over here.
You can strafe while you're shooting?
Here's a gift. You're done. Taste defeat.
I can see this being her being very top tier.
Here's a gift.
So fun thing about Tweyen is that in the game, she's one of the few characters that has a paralyze move on her charge attack. Nowadays, a lot more characters have paralyze, and paralyze is not as useful, but back in the day, she was one of the very few characters that had paralyze, and the thing about paralyze is when you use paralyze, it paralyzes the enemy for the entire raid. So when you paralyze an enemy, it gets paralyzed for every other player who's fighting that enemy in that raid. So, and her paralyze lasted like a minute. So back when we used to fight Proto Bahamut, and Proto Bahamut used to be really hard, he does a really big attack, Skyfall, at 30% and like 5%. So the idea was you need to bring at least one Tweyen to the raid, and then at about 30%, you have to have her paralyze him, and then everyone just goes all out attack on him to burn him down from 30%. And once they released Tweyen's 5-star uncap, then she also had an ability that extended her paralyze. So you paralyzed him for a minute, and then once the minute almost ran out, you had to extend the paralyze to make it last a second minute. The only problem with this strat is that the enemy does gain resistance to paralyze. So if more than one person brings her to the raid, and someone tries to use a paralyze earlier in the raid, it could prevent him from being paralyzed at 30%, which basically makes the entire raid fail. Like literally, it was impossible. The entire raid would fail if you couldn't get off that paralyze. It was pretty clutch. Like actual, yeah, PvP. And you also had to coordinate, because you don't want two people to use paralyze at the same time. So you had to use a sticker to say like, I'm gonna use the paralyze, and then wait a couple seconds to make sure no one else is gonna use it, and then use it. Because again, there's ping and there's lag in the game because it's a turn-based game. Furthermore, back then there wasn't a timer on the paralyze too, so you had to guess when the paralyze was about to run out to extend it, or you actually use like a timer and time like 60 seconds and try to extend it before it ran out. Even when they added the timers, it was annoying because then you gotta click on the enemy to look at the timer, which takes a second, and the timer isn't like updated in real time, technically, so it was a lot of clinch. Furthermore, there are other characters in the game that also have a paralyze. Namely, Eustace has a paralyze, but his paralyze is only like 30 seconds or something like that, like much shorter. So if someone else had a Eustace in the raid, you could troll by using Eustace and having him hit the paralyze. And if he does that, it jeopardizes the entire raid because then you can't use paralyze later. It was like quite a time. Nowadays, you don't need to do any of that for Proto Bahamut, but back then, that was... You could not win that raid without doing that, and you needed to farm it for like horns and stuff. It was very, yeah.
These guys have never failed me. Rain from above! I have you! Flincher!
Well, I forgot to try out Seofon's like aerial attacks. Ooh, that's cool.
Here goes.
Oh.
Fly through. Wipe them out. Eat this. Let's see you run. Fall. It's over. Taste defeat. Valiant Weave.
Oh yeah, the other reason why Rackham got at least into one of the top rankings of the game is because also people use him for sliming.
I've got you now. I have you. I've got you.
So that's the only thing that got Rackham into like the top. I think Lancelot and Percival were like 5th and 6th place for a couple of the rankings.
No escape. Let's go. Rain from above. Eat this. Perish. I don't miss. You're finished. I'll pierce your heart.
Ooh. One thing I like about this game is that like the Skybound arts look really cool, but they don't get in the way of other people doing things. Like a lot of the effects are effects that only you see and the others don't see because they're in the middle of fighting, right? Which is kind of cool because then it means that your Skybound doesn't interrupt their gameplay, but you still get to see the cool attacks and stuff. Or when you like strike a pose or whatever, it doesn't really matter to the other players because they just keep fighting.
Good luck out there.
Welcome. I can make any weapon you want.
Yeah, so he only has this weapon along with the one that he comes with. So you need to farm the behemoth for some of these, the death nails and stuff.
Thanks for coming.
What other skills do they have? Okay, so barrages a foe with spirit swords, unleashes more spirit swords if sword shine level's high. Grants critical rate and attack, maxes out his avatar gauge. Dodges backwards, performs a forward leaping slash. Joint avatar attacks deal more hits if sword shine level's high enough. Grants hostility up and defense up, also grants him debuff immunity. Unleashes a wave that hits foes and inflicts slow in a conical zone in front of Seofon. Joint attacks deal more damage if sword shine level's high enough. Unleashes a series of swift slashes on a foe. Okay, I might want these two. You know, I don't really need this one. Dodges backwards. This one seems good. think a lunge is always useful to have. I'm gonna put the lunge on Y. The dodge backwards might be useful, but this one might be good just for straight up damage. Okay, what about you? Grants attack up and mirror image. A ranged attack that showers a wide area with arrows and deals a high amount of stun. Hold while activating to aim. Fires a single devastating arrow. Deals more damage based on number of debuffs. Leaps into the air and fires 3 arrows while dodging backwards. Tilt the left stick while airborne to dodge in that direction instead. Oh, this one. It fires a forward stream arrows. Hold while casting to prolong fire. Inflict attack down, defense down, burn, poison, and slow in that order. That might be good. Fires arrows while spinning in place. Launches a foe to air. Okay, this one's an AoE. That's good. Grants Stout Heart and Deadshot. Deadshot. Ultra Sight level gain is boosted. She doesn't really need Stout Heart because you can just equip that. I kind of want both of these. Depravity and Wheel of Death. Mirror Image is useful, but I don't really need it unless I'm fighting like a high level enemy. It's hard because all of these sound pretty good. You know, I don't need Merculite. Okay, we'll do this for now. I like both of them, but I think I'll put my final party is mainly going to be Vayne, Cagliostro, Rosetta, and then Sandalphon. Here's his profile. Likes telling jokes and teasing others. Dislikes illogical things and cheaters. Likes being one of the girls. Dislikes being treated differently and making bad puns. But she dislikes bad puns. We have the Ahriman and the Behemoth. The Eternals. Actually, I'll quickly save just in case my game crashes. Okay, so let's do their Fate episodes. Now, the thing is, the Eternals are a very beloved group of characters in the game because everyone likes them, everyone has access to them, they're really powerful, and more recently they've actually been appearing in events and have some fun interactions. But, like back in the day, the Eternals didn't really have too much to them, despite being popular, because all their recruitment Fate episodes are literally the same. It's always the same because you actually recruit them by grinding in the game and not by rolling them. So all their Fate episodes are, like, you go to Cheryl's knickknack sack, she discovers like an ancient rusted weapon, you polish up that weapon, you build it, you make it stronger, the Eternal comes by, they see you with the weapon, they find out who you are, they eventually challenge you to a fight because they think that you're not strong enough to wield the weapon, and then you defeat them, and then they join your crew. So, and then every other Fate episode of theirs is the same. It's like about awakening the weapon, hearing the weapon's voices, wanting to fight the other Eternal. Like, what I'm saying is all the Eternals do not have a strong semblance of self back in the day because all their Fate episodes are identical. When they started appearing in events and actually interacting with other characters, they actually started getting a little bit more personality. So I'm interested because here we're gonna do their Fate episodes, and presumably they're gonna be
Hello.
just like everyone else's Fate episodes, like little mini stories, and we'll actually get to see like a real Fate episode for the Eternals that isn't just finding Gran, fighting Gran, polishing a Revenant weapon, awakening the Revenant weapon, etc., etc. The leader of the Eternals, a group of the strongest weapon masters in the skies, also known as the Star Sword Sovereign, his prowess with the sword is limitless. He cares greatly for everyone's well-being while also maintaining laid-back vibes. So a lot of times, even though he's like the leader of the Eternals, like no one takes him seriously, or at least no one in the Eternals takes him seriously. And he's a little bit of a clown until things get serious. Then he gets all like serious and cool and badass, but usually he's pretty laid back, and they usually kind of poke fun at him at being like such a laid back leader. And one of the running jokes is he's always trying to get all the Eternals get together for a party, and he can never get all 10 of them in one place at one time. We need to get to character level 85 to get his Fate episode. Oh, okay, you know what? We're gonna grind them up. Actually, I might have some books. Hey Jay, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. How are you doing? Welcome in.
I've always got your back.
So, shall we head out?
Hope you're doing well today. Okay, they're level 60. Do I have any books? I probably do. Well, I have a ton of books. Okay, well not a ton, but like a fair amount. Here, I'll give you each like 20 first. And then maybe 10 of these each. Oh yeah, that's plenty. That's more than I need. Here, you can have 5. Okay, then we don't have to slime with them. Actually, Tweyen would be really good for sliming, because you can just hit all the slimes from a distance and then have your computers finish them off. Are the Eternals strong in this game? Tweyen seems really strong just because, on virtue of being a ranged character that has a high level of mobility. I think people said that Seofon's pretty strong too, but I don't know how he ranks compared to everyone else. He seems like he will probably do really well.
Good day.
Okay. Okay, now I can do all the Fate episodes.
What does it mean to be the strongest? We've all wrestled with our inadequacies at one point or another. I know I have. Doesn't matter how old you are or where you come from. Everyone wants to be the top dog. So, what exactly does it take to reach the peak of Mount Awesome?
Mount Awesome.
Power, be it physical, economic, or political, is all about using the right leverage. Like a high-stakes game of rock, paper, scissors. For instance, you can't always outflex a sharp wit with muscles alone. Your environment plays an important role in shaping your strengths too. A desert denizen shrugs off the heat, no sweat. A kid raised in the streets tends to be savvier than a child of privilege. As you can see, everyone thinks they know what strength is, but it isn't that cut and dry. Leave definitions to the dictionary. I prefer to follow my gut. What we need is a unified baseline predicated on common sense. Something along the lines of, being the strongest means never losing to anyone. Ever. And that's why the Eternals had to be created. So, we're a group of 10 who command the most powerful weapons in the skies. And I'm the big kahuna. That's right, the lovable Star Sword Sovereign. But you can just call me Seofon. Think of us as the bouncers of the Sky Realm. We roam the skies, staring down would-be troublemakers while wagging our fingers no.
Wagging our little fingers. No, no, no.
Look deep into your heart and ask yourself if you'd stoop to villainy under the watchful eyes of the world's strongest good guys. What? No, you wouldn't. Stop lying. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what happens when a stoppable force meets an immovable crew. Some have even accused us of being a mafia, Rich. I mean, that's just flat out disrespectful. Look, we never claimed we were perfect. There are more than enough nations and leaders out there who view our autonomy as a threat to their interests. Our plans have backfired on us before, leading to unnecessary animosity and resentment. Mistakes have definitely been made. Yet despite all that, and this is just between me and you, okay? Recruiting the world's biggest badasses sounded way too fun to pass up. I knew getting the strongest people in the world to gel wouldn't be easy. It was hard enough convincing them to join the team, let alone work as one. You win some, you lose some. Now I know what you're dying to ask. Whenever people gossip about us, they always feel the need to bring it up. So, let's get this out of the way and put the subject to bed. There can only be one who wears the crown of strongest eternal. Only one whose bravery and deeds are second to none. Possessed of both unparalleled martial power and wisdom. And great hair to boot. Now, who could that be, I wonder?
Obviously, Seox. Man, I like fell asleep halfway through him talking about all that. That was so boring. Seofon assembled 10 of the strongest warriors in their weapon class to form the Eternals. He reasoned that the mere presence of an all-powerful Skyfaring crew would be enough to stop conflict before it started, though he also admits he gathered ultimate fighters just for the fun of it. In practice, the philosophy of strength as a deterrent hasn't always panned out, but as far as Seofon is concerned, the Eternals have been a success. Oh, well, they actually have, like, they rendered Henri's head, the side of his head.
The boundary, where every strand of time entwines and colossal concentrations of energy are stored.
Okay, so they mentioned the boundary quite a bit in more recent Granblue events. It's kind of implied that's where Seofon gets his power from when his hair turns blue, or when Gran eventually is able to get his hair to turn blue in some instances. But they never really explained what the boundary is. They just kind of mentioned it and tossed the word around like as if we should know. So this is actually probably the closest we've ever gotten to an actual definition of what the boundary is.
A person with a strong boundary imprint is capable of tapping into the boundary to extract its energy. Like yours truly, for one. That being said, just because I have access to the mine doesn't mean I'll always strike gold. If anything, I think I got more than I bargained for. A resonant voice boomed from the boundary and issued a disturbing warning. It claimed there was a calamitous menace residing in Zega Grande skydom. Zega Grande? You're sure about that? Unless my memory was playing tricks on me. That was where the captain and the crew were right now.
Oh right, I forgot to check out I need to check out his other color palettes in this
How
game.
Curious. I wonder if that warning you heard pertains to a youth named Id.
Meet Anra, the world's greatest spearmaster. Blame him for giving me the idea to form the Eternals. He's got eyes and ears in all corners of the skies thanks to his buddies from his merchant days.
He said Onra this time, but in verses they say Onra. But then sometimes in verses he just calls him On, even though the text still says Onra. It's a little inconsistent. Like in verses, the character's called Grimnir, but then the announcer calls him Grimnir.
Who's this Id guy? I get the feeling you've got the deets.
Indeed I do. Have a seat. The tales my friends tell me of Zega Grande's current events are well worth the listen.
Anra proceeded to give me the scoop. Turns out Zega Grande has primal beasts too, except they call them primeval gods. The Church of Avia, led by a woman named Lilith, propagated the idea of deifying those primals.
Oh my gosh, this is so boring. He's just re-summarizing the entire game for us.
Grande was unique, in the sense that even the true king had yet to meddle in its affairs.
Oh, he's actually mentioning the true king.
Thankfully, the captain and the crew thwarted Lilith's plans. Her son Id is now pursuing a path of atonement for his transgressions.
Sheesh. I can't believe an extinction-level conspiracy nearly succeeded right under our noses. That's not funny at all.
Come on, Seofon. It feels like almost every couple months something in the world tries to destroy all the Skydoms, and the Eternals never step in to try to stop them. What about when the moon was invading, huh? You guys didn't do anything about that. What about Lucilius, huh? You guys didn't do anything about that.
You're telling me this kid morphed into the Dragon of Destruction to blow up the world, and we're supposed to let bygones be bygones because he's sorry? Anra, ever perceptive of my implications, tried to appease me with a smile.
Now, the captain has welcomed Id into the crew. It may be best to keep your opinions to yourself this time. You have a history of coming across as confrontational.
Ouch. He's got me there. Still hurts to be called out, though. Come on. It's my job as our leader to take this stuff seriously. Besides, getting on the captain's bad side is the last thing I want.
Yes, it would be wise to maintain an amicable working relationship.
The old-timer chuckled softly before shooting me a piercing stare.
Do you remember that sage counsel I gave you oh so long ago? Sometimes, making impartial decisions means losing the sympathy and understanding of others. This is going to be one of those times.
Ah, Anra. Subtle as ever. Leading the Eternals is hard enough without your helpful reminders. I know. I'll keep you updated.
A voice echoing from the boundary alerts Seofon to Id's existence, declaring that Id has the potential to destroy the skies. Upon discussing this revelation with Anra, the Elder Eternal reveals that Id is Kiro's friend, and Seofon may face difficult choices ahead. Seofon heads for Zega Grande to ascertain the threat for himself.
Wait, really? You're coming with me, Tweyen?
Unless you see me as excess baggage.
What? I would never think that. My original plan was to fly solo. Punctuality isn't a hallmark of the Eternals. Assuming anyone bothers to show up when I call for assembly, that is. To make matters worse, my approval rating took a nosedive for my handling of recent events. They can think whatever they want, but I did what I had to do, even if it meant losing a modicum of trust in the short run. That was the justification I gave myself, anyway.
So this is referencing some of the events in Granblue the mobile game.
So when Tweyen offered to accompany me, I was touched. Were the open wounds finally starting to heal? I wanted it to be true. Please tell me it was true.
Also, the Eternals outfit uniform is really nice. I like the color palette on it.
You're coming with me out of the goodness of your heart, right?
Actually, it's personal. I'll be on hand to make sure you don't start a war or something. Think of me as your chaperone.
I knew it was too good to be true. Give me a little credit. I swear I've learned my lesson.
And I want to believe you, but we don't need a repeat of the Stardust Town incident.
Oh, right. That little unhappiness. Me reaping what I sowed really sucks. Well, that's just Tweyen being Tweyen. I know she's worried about me. She's too professional to say it. Yeah, let's go with that.
No, she's babysitting you. She's babysitting you. Seofon is thrilled to hear that Tweyen is coming with him to Zega Grande, only to have his pride wounded when she explains this to keep him from doing anything foolish. Nevertheless, Seofon is grateful for the company, choosing to believe this is Tweyen's way of showing concern for him.
Hail, friends! Sorry for missing the action. Wish I could have gotten here sooner. As I took my first steps into the town of Folka, I was greeted by the crew, who I hadn't seen in what felt like ages. It should have been a happy reunion. But instead, I felt shame for not being there when this Skydom needed me.
Took you long enough, Slowpoke.
And the razzing had already begun. The captain treated me like a personal punching bag.
The razzing.
You must be the famous Eternal I've heard so much about. I'm Roland, Fulka's resident handyman. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You wonder how this cutscene would appear without rescuing Roland? I think that you need to have completed that part of the quest to unlock their Fate episodes. Because I think their Fate episodes prerequisite is you need to have finished the main story. Which probably includes the rescuing Roland part.
Pleasure's all mine, Roland. I'm Seofon, leader of the Eternals. We exchange smiles and handshakes. So far, so good. I didn't sense any signs of deceit, but nothing's ever simple when it comes to astrals. Kinda hard to trust the people who once invaded your homeland, you know. Make no mistake, Roland had the power to conquer nations if he wanted to. So, is it true that you're an astral?
Yes, there's no escaping my past. However, not all astrals are cut from the same stone. With that being said, I realize old prejudices die hard.
Hey, if you don't start trouble, then neither will I.
It's a deal. I'm sure I'll earn my keep given enough time.
My gut was telling me I needed to keep an eye on this Roland guy too. Otherwise, I'd be shirking my duties as an Eternal. But for now, there was someone else at the top of my wanted list.
Name's Id.
Ah, put it there. Jeez, he had a crushing grip. Suddenly, my body was racked by an unimaginable sensation. One that gave me chills all over. You know how pressure builds up before a dam bursts or a volcano erupts? That's the best way I could describe the ridiculous amount of force pushing back against me. I've fought my share of tough guys before, but this? Never felt anything like it. Seems like the power gauging went both ways. Play cool, Seofon. Flash him your award-winning smile. What's up?
Nothing. Sorry.
I was afraid it would come to this. I'm sorry, Captain. I hope you'll be able to forgive me for what I'll have to do.
Oh, Seofon. No one likes you when you have to be like this part of your personality. Seofon reunites with Kiro and the crew in Sega Grande and apologizes for not being on hand to help defeat Lilith. He's introduced to Id, and upon shaking the man's hand, feels a surge of power he's never felt before. Seofon's apprehension intensifies. I realize now that I should actually give him some gear. Well, first, actually, he needs Potion Hoarder. I mean, I don't know how hard they're gonna make these like the Fate episode quests are never hard, right? But who knows? Maybe they could be like for fun. We'll make this one a little bit more. I forgot how I should have just sorted the list. There, Potion Hoarder. Here, we'll start with Potion Hoarder. I have too many sigils. And I even got rid of anything that was like below level 5. It's still pretty like high. Then again, I don't want to be too strong, because remember when we did Gandagozas and I like one-shot what's-his-face, and then it just felt like very boring, so I don't want to be too strong. Here, I'll give you, let's see, I'll give you an Aegis, and then maybe like a stamina or something. Suffering from success, right? And this is the first Fate fight, like it's not going to be hard at all. Here, you can have a stamina. Here, you know what? That's good. That's good. Three is fine. Look at Vern's face.
I checked myself into a room for a few nights. Keeping tabs on id was going to take a while.
Is this entire Fate episode just gonna be him stalking id?
Since I've got nothing else on my plate, I figure you guys could use another handyman. I'm more like a handy army, if you will. Although I had persuaded id to spar with me one-on-one, there was little to learn when the stakes were non-existent. Thankfully, the gods threw me a bone.
Help! We've got monsties stomping around by the waterfront!
Not the monsties.
Waterfront.
Id looking shook was a rare sight to see. That place must have meant something to him.
Just our luck. Grand Cypher's still in the shop.
I'll go ask Roland if we can borrow a ship.
Damn it.
This was my chance to see how id reacted when pushed to the brink. And of course, we had people to save as well. If you don't mind the squeeze, I've got my two-seater that I flew here in. Need a ride?
Good idea. No monsters will stand a chance against you two. We'll catch up as soon as we can.
Got it. See you there.
My plan went off without a hitch. We took off for Tempio with id pointing the way. This place we're heading to, anything special about it?
Yeah. I promised the people living there I'd keep them safe.
Then there's no time to waste.
Meanwhile, Seofon's like, he's trying to defend a village from monsters. I don't trust this guy, he must be evil.
Last thing I wanted on my conscience was my failure to protect the innocent. Lives were at stake, and that's all that mattered.
I see him up ahead.
Let's move.
Roger Dodger, let's take care of this lickety-split.
Their numbers are absurd.
Calm down, kid. You and I can handle twice this much.
So,
Cat and mouse.
I'm going in.
Let's slow you down. Unga, oh look, it's raining storm. Cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse. Cat and mouse. Cat and mouse.
It's another wave. This'll be easy.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate news for my investigation. I need you to go all out here.
So on.
Oops, spaced out there for a sec. I'm with you. Unga. Cat and mouse. Over here. One and gun. Surprise. Have some deck. Infinito creare. Unga. Cat and mouse.
We got more trouble! Monsters are all over the village!
You're kidding me.
Stay focused here, Id. Leave the village to the captain.
Yeah, okay. Let's wrap this up.
This avatar range is really nice.
That must be their gem.
It's a bold army! Where'd they all come from?
I've got this.
Oh, my avatar ran out while that was happening. Can't move.
Holy crap. Now that's power.
Oh yeah! Time for the It Show!
Incoming. That's the Crypt Keeper who keeps raising the dead. Let's see what you got. Oops. Too much for ya? Unga. Oh no. How's this? Cat and mouse. Tear them apart. Arrivo. Unga. Cat and mouse.
Where'd these come from?
Unga. Turtle up. I'm up. Infinito creare. Surprise.
Okay, maybe he does do quite a bit of damage. Oh, I should have put the auto revive on. Okay, so I should have equipped more.
See, he's unstoppable.
I know, right? This dragon form was freaky at first, but now coolest thing!
Is that right? Never would have guessed. Hungo! Let's play! Tear them apart! Arrigo! Roger that!
Id, stop fighting the ads. Come get the boss with me.
Too much for ya? Oh yeah, taste the blade! Not enough? And here I was hoping to save my truck car. 100,000 balas! Cat and mouse. Alley-oop! There it is! Surprise! Have some death! Let's go! Box you! No, no! A banana! Bye-bye! No!
I'm slowed.
Hungo! What's the matter? This should do the trick. Yeah, that power is bad news.
Huh? What's with you?
No, sorry. Had a rock in my shoe. Let's see what you got.
Rise, Leo. Get up to something.
Don't you worry. We can't possibly lose. His power rivals mine. I'll eat my sword if we fail. Oh yeah. Take the blade. Let's go. Bye-bye. There's no end to his stamina. Where does it come from? Infinito! You don't have to twist my leg.
Take that, Skelly.
All right, now for the village.
Thanks for the stretch.
I hope we are not too late.
Id's entire body twitched with impatience. His anxiety was getting the better of him. Go on ahead with Vern. I'll stick around here to mop up any stragglers.
Thanks. I owe you one.
Come on!
I watched them depart, then turned back to my task at hand. That power of his is off the charts. And to think, he demonstrated such devastating power without even fully knowing how to control it. Tackling godlike entities was par for the course for us Eternals. Frankly, in his current state, I'd stick Id several tiers below the toughest of the tough, but he could easily shoot up the rankings. Fully powered or not, the instant he transformed into a mini Bahamut, I'd seen enough. If he ever figures out how to unlock the secrets of Bahamut's destructive might, then gods help us all.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more gear on him just to be for the next one. Right, I also got his personal one, right? What does this do? Boost sword shine level whenever Seofon activates a skill while an avatar is summoned. Okay. Yeah, I don't want him to be too powerful. That takes away the fun of the Fate episode. Let's see. Stamina. Let's do... Can he handle a tyranny? Those HP's too low for that right now. You know what? I'm just gonna give him another crit. Yeah, I don't want to give him the best ones because I'm also saving that for my other CPUs. Here, that's fine. Hey Drago, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by.
Hello.
Seofon helps with requests around Folka in order to observe Id. One day, a settlement comes under attack from powerful monsters. Seofon suggests that he and Id head out first to fight the foes, which would also give him an excuse to witness Id's true strength. As the fights unfold, Seofon's fears are all but confirmed.
The 11th hour was approaching fast. I wanted to spring into action, snip the weed at the roots. But I decided to check in with Tweyen first, just in case. His power is a ticking time bomb. You want to live with endless guilt after he goes off? 'Cause I don't. Sky Dwellers, to a certain extent, possess something called a boundary imprint, which links them to the boundary. The Sky Realm was going to have a very bad day if his dragon powers ever crossed streams with the boundary's energy. That fear wouldn't stop haunting me. Who's to say the kid had the mental fortitude to withstand the dragon's temptation? Bahamut didn't climb up the supremacy ladder with pleases and thank yous.
But I just noticed, there's like one of those dudes in the background behind the shrubs, like holding up his hand to his ear, listening to them. Seofon, for someone who's supposed to be like the most powerful big head honcho ever, you'd think that you'd know if someone was eavesdropping on your conversation out in the open, but I don't know. That's just me.
We'd be smoking piles of ash by the time we decided to move. I was banking on Tweyen sympathizing with me.
In other words, assassination.
Unfortunately, yes. Believe me, this is our last resort.
Well, I disagree.
When I asked her why, she said I'd fallen prey to confirmation bias. She was still in the process of making her own determinations about Id.
We know good people who once threatened to upset the sky's balance. They changed for the better and were welcomed with open arms into the crew. How can you be so quick to judge a book by its cover?
She added that the captain's journey was fraught with danger. Success hinged upon having crewmates of diverse backgrounds and talents. And you think Id can be one of those people?
Yes. He'll prove himself soon. You'll see.
She always knew how to make a compelling argument. Heck, part of me was even rooting for the kid to conquer the dragon's power. Fair enough. I'll put Plan B on the back burner until further notice.
Yeah, it's nice that they're establishing stuff from the lore from both the mobile game and from this game. It almost feels like this is adding more of an epilogue to Id's story. But man, these Fate episodes are kind of boring. Having concluded that Id's power possesses a risk to the world's stability, Seofon argues with Tweyen that it's their duty as Eternals to eliminate him. Tweyen counters that Id needs more time to prove himself, reminding Seofon that the other problem cases have gone on to become Kiro's greatest allies. Seofon accepts Tweyen's opinion and agrees to observe Id for a bit longer.
A gentle breeze cooled my skin as a church bell signaled the coming hour. Squeals of laughter from rambunctious rascals filled the town plaza, while their elders engaged in pleasant banter. It was a lovely day. Too lovely to be spent digging up dirt on Id. And yet there I was, playing private detective. You gotta do what you gotta do. Still had no idea how he got his powers in the first place. But his handyman reviews were through the roof.
Not Seofon digging through Id's like Yelp reviews to try to find out more about him.
The guy did anything and everything for Folka. He even ran sword training classes for the town's tykes. Guess Tweyen was really onto something. Id boasted an impressive resume that proved his worth to the captain's crew. There was no way I could move to eliminate him. No, snap out of it, Seofon. You're supposed to remain impartial. Don't let yourself be hypnotized by Folka's bewitching serenity. As it turned out, not everyone spoke so glowingly of the brooding swordsman. Case in point, I found a lady whose testimony supported my misgivings.
You're supposed to be unbiased, Seofon, so I'm only gonna find things that agree with my opinion.
Yes, he did save me from danger, but I just can't get over his terrifying visage.
Wait, that's it? This lady says something that agrees with my prejudices against it. It appears that he saved her from danger, but had a frown on his face. That's pretty upsetting.
May I ask why?
He tore through monsters like paper. Does it make him less of a monster if he's the one slaughtering them? What if he snaps one day and comes after me and my family?
The masses fear power beyond their comprehension. These misunderstandings can snowball into skywide chaos.
Yeah, he looks a bit sus. Seofon in a Phoenix Wright voice. I have what I need! Take that!
If we could keep a tight lid on Id's might, then everything would be hunky-dory. Whether the captain and us Eternals could form a tight enough seal was the problem. Even if I wanted to give Id the benefit of the doubt, I had to assume the worst.
And this one lady who agrees with me supports my opinion. He didn't even find, like, actual evidence. I thought he was gonna, like, find someone who gives him, like, testimony about, like, Id raising their village when he was still a bad guy. But no, he just finds a lady who doesn't like his face. Seofon asks the Foka locals about Id and learns that he's nearly universally praised. However, a merchant whom Id had rescued from monsters expressed how terrified she'd been of his brutal power. People are easily afraid of the unknown. Fears that turn rampant can destabilize the Sky Realm.
Another gorgeous day. Light winds, and not a cloud in the sky. I leaned on the deck railing of the airship and stared out into the forgotten sky. This is it. I'd arrived at the spot where Id had rescued Roland, where he had opened a hole to another dimension. Wasn't traversing dimensions something only the 6 dragons were capable of?
Well, now he's mentioning the 6 dragons too. Gosh, we're gonna have a 6th dragon in this game eventually, right? Please make it Wilness.
Can I risk letting a kid who's capable of tearing the fabric of space live? Can't hold it against him that his astral foster mother led him down a path of darkness. Not to mention, his body had been hijacked by a literal dragon god. Don't be stupid. Unlike the other problem cases in the crew, this guy is beyond saving. He's an irredeemable menace.
I would also like Ewiar. I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, I don't really want Fediel or Galleon. We know there's 2 very compelling reasons why people would want those characters.
I hated that annoying voice. Because I knew it was telling me what I wanted to hear. He's too dangerous to be left alive. And you know it.
I'll take Wamdis too, because we don't really have many Harvins in this game. But, of course, Wilness is my top choice.
The voice began pestering me after I teamed up with the captain to resolve a crisis, revolving around the sky's wedges, aka the 6 dragons. Good luck trying to silence your own thoughts from yourself. It sounded exactly like me, because it was me. A Seofon of an alternate world spoke from the time-convergent boundary. Apparently, I had made wildly different choices in that timeline. Id has an imprint. What with him being a sky dweller and all. It's bad enough he's got the power of destruction. What happens if he acquires the boundary's power of creation, too? I was no expert in that mumbo-jumbo, so I'd have to take his word for it.
Yeah, let me just believe the evil self I have that I'm hearing the voice of from an alternate dimension.
Of course, I'd take it with a hefty dose of salt. Just let him talk, and hope that he tires himself out. Fine. I won't beat a dead horse, but here's some food for thought. Take a peek at this vision of Id getting his hands on both powers, and then tell me you're okay with turning a blind eye. A searing vision ripped through my skull, and left me with a pounding headache. Where do I even begin with what I'd been shown? There was a dragon, presumably id, on a murder-fueled rampage. His breath left behind wakes of charred soot that scattered to the wind as islands tumbled out of the sky. The ultimate strength belonged to him, and he unleashed it upon the skies until only a hollow husk of a world was left. Big deal. It had a 1 in a billion chance of happening. That's practically zero.
A 1 in a billion chance of happening, you say? Meanwhile, Bern Costell's like, The therapist, are these evil versions of you in the room with us right now? Can you hear their voices right now? What are they saying?
Neat trick. You almost had me going there. Who was I fooling? So long as id drew breath, practically zero wasn't zero.
Almost midnight means it wasn't midnight. Or almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas.
I hate this. As much as I wanted to slap the smirk off my other face, I knew I was right. And that's what pissed me off the most. Sorry, Tweyen. I can't wait for your judgment any longer. You'd understand my position if you'd seen what I'd seen.
You'd understand if you saw the imaginary things I saw in my head.
Suddenly, Anra's words rang in my ears.
Sometimes making impartial decisions means losing the sympathy and understanding of others.
True enough, old friend. True enough. If that makes me public enemy number 1, so be it. This is my duty to the world.
Great, he's going down this path. He's going down the unlikable Seofon path. Episode 8, Righteous Execution. Am I gonna be fighting id? As Seofon wrestles with what to do with id, the voice from the boundary, a Seofon from a different timeline, warns that id will threaten the world if he obtains the power of creation to complement his dragon powers. Anra's premonition about Seofon making difficult choices come true. Seofon decides he has to eliminate id.
What's this all about, Seofon? Id eyed me with great suspicion, and he had every right to do so. One doesn't get called out to the monster-infested Skyworm Valley expecting to have a fun-filled picnic. Thanks for coming on such short notice. You might want to sit down for this. It wasn't going to be an easy pill for him to swallow. I told him about his boundary imprint, the boundary's power, all that jazz. It was imperative for him to understand that one wrong move could spell doom for the world.
What if telling him about this boundary thing is what pushes him down the path of getting the power of the boundary?
Prevention is the best cure, meaning you've got to go. I took everything, and I mean everything, into consideration. I'm just doing my job here. No hard feelings. In my mind, I pictured a dragon's silhouette, racing through the sky above the valley, raining death and decay upon the land. I told myself I was doing the right thing. I see. Considering the gravity of what I'd just told him, it was doing a good job of staying composed.
I can't dispute the fact that my power has the potential to cause disaster.
His eyes burned with the will to fight.
But here's the rub. I'm indebted to the people of these skies, and I aim to repay them. The Sky Realm granted me this strength for a reason, and until I understand my purpose in life, I swore I'd never let this second chance go to waste.
I knew he was doing everything in his power to help the captain and others. You can't fake that kind of sincerity.
Come hell or high water, I will survive.
He made a big show of drawing his great blade. Yeah, right. As if that would dissuade me. Fine then. Let the games begin. We were both swordsmen, and we knew the score. Only one of us was going to come out on top. I, Seofon, the Star Sword Sovereign, shall cut you down! Alright, buddy. Throw the kitchen sink at me. Tear them apart.
Losing to you.
Oops. Too much for... Let's slow you down. Hunger. Cat and mouse. Take this. Surprise! Have some death! Nice. Who knew you could keep up with me?
Maybe I really should have leveled up a little bit more.
Oh, you need it.
Man, it really sucks we couldn't have met under better circumstances. Infinito creare! One and gun! Step, tear them apart! Hunger! Cat and mouse! Hunger!
Faster! Suffer!
Surprise! Have some death! Oh, infinito!
No fair, how come you get super armor and I don't?
Cat and mouse! Come! Alley-oop! You're finished! Tear them apart! Arriba! Better watch out for any big attacks.
Won't hold back.
Good! I like a fun challenge.
I should be able to dodge this, right?
Arrogant punk.
Where's my vein rampart when I need it?
You won't escape me!
Surprise! Have some death! Nowhere to hide! Just through!
You're nothing!
Cat and mouse! Hunger! One and...
Like one hit of him does like so much of my HP. It sounded like he was about to swear there for a second.
Oh yeah! Take the blade! Cat and mouse! Hunger! Take this! Tear them apart! Oh look! It's right... Let's see what yours does! Cat and mouse! Hunger! Oh yeah! Take it! Up and at him!
Faster! Oh yeah!
Take this! Take this!
Come!
Come! Tear them apart! Arrigo! One and gun! Infinito creare! Cat and mouse! This in the heart! I'll have you know I'm not just a pretty face. Bring it! You've met your mark! Come on! Don't be scared. Let the dragon out to play.
No, I don't want the dragon to come out and play.
I'll kick your ass!
No.
Your dawn has arrived! Become my power!
Where's my vein?
Tear them apart. Let's see what you got. Oh, look.
Oh, that was a bad time. Where is he? Oh, god damn it. I lost track of him.
Surprise! Have some shit! Hunga! Oh yeah. One and done. Cat and
There we go. Hey Chewy, welcome in. Thank you so much for dropping by the stream. Hello. And I'm Duckero. Welcome in. Were you streaming together? Thank you so much for dropping by. Please go check out our friend Chewy when you get a chance. He's a really cool streamer, awesome guy, gamer. He plays a lot of games like Valorant, for example, but he also does a lot of cooking stuff too, and he's really, really sweet, so please go check him out. Hey Louie, welcome in. Hey Pastel B. Hope you guys are doing well today. And please go check out I'm Duckero too when you get a chance. You're cooking together? That sounds like a lot of fun. What did you make today? Yeah, we'll shout you out when the cooldown comes off. Thanks so much for dropping by and sharing your audience. Me, hope you're doing well today. We're playing some Granblue Fantasy Relink. There's a new update from a couple days ago, so we're playing with some of the new characters, and we're currently doing a one-on-one fight that I am grossly unprepared for, so that's great. Hope you guys are all doing well. Feel free to sit back and relax, or go take care of yourself after your stream. I appreciate you being here.
tear them apart. Oh look, it's raining ever again. So you can raid in the dragon. What a surprise.
God.
I'll prove it.
That'd be awesome if you could, kid. But I just don't see it happening.
Oh god, I keep running the wrong direction. Ow.
I heard the story. You and Mommy Dearest tried your very best to wipe out Sega Grande. Oh yes.
My sin to bear forever. Lost a tone. Till I pay it. Death is the coward's way out.
It's all well and good.
But the best way for you to take responsibility is to realize the danger you pose to everyone. No.
Time that badly?
Too much. Surprise! Have some shit! Cat and mouse. Hungo! Cat and mouse. Oh yeah! Take the foot! One and done! Cat and mouse. Oh look! It's raining! More where this came from! Hungo! Surprise! Keep it coming!
Ow.
Oh yeah! Taste the blade! Cat and mouse! My favorite part! Taste steel!
Too strong.
Or you're going too easy on me. Go ahead and step it up.
Ow, no fair. He gives me Dark Flame.
Tear them apart.
Oh no.
That's I'm totally gonna take that head on.
Well, not fair. He knocks me into the other attack.
Surprise!
I'm running out of healing items. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Maybe I should be. Infinito creare! So what? We can make talk. Let's see what you got. Oh yeah, take the look. Great stuff. Show me what destiny has in store for you. Such a shame. Your power would have been a great asset to the capital. However, I can't allow a seed of calamity to take root and sprout. Every threat to the world must be stamped out. Make sure I'm dead so much. Cat and mouse. Hungo. Bring it. Tear them apart. Alley-oop. Hungo! Surprise! Have some death! Infinito creare! Oh yeah!
I'm doing pretty good on dodging these, actually.
Let's see what you got! Let's do it! Cat sword sovereign! What's the matter? Right where I want you. Oh look! It's raining swords! Now! The finale! The sword sovereign reveals his strength! Cien mil espadas!
Oh, yeah.
Tough luck, kid.
Well, bye, id. This Fate episode series made you realize you don't actually like Seofon. As someone who is very casually enjoying this mobile game, I apologize to you. He's not usually like this. I mean, he's like this like 30% of the time. But I think they just picked that because it kind of works well for this story, question mark. I don't really like it either.
I finally broke through Id's tenacity and forced him down onto one knee.
Like he's basically exactly becoming a certain character that he also disagrees, or let me be less cryptic. Seofon is behaving exactly like another character that he disagreed with in the mobile game, and is basically just becoming his own worst enemy.
The kid wasn't a monster. Far from it. But I had to heed the warning from my other self. Without the guarantee of him mastering his powers, I couldn't take any chances.
I refuse to stay down.
That was a pretty good fight, though. I'm kind of glad that I intentionally did not fully gear myself up, because that was actually pretty good.
To my surprise, he wobbled back up on trembling legs and readied his hulking sword again. What does he eat, iron?
You won't stop me from keeping my promises!
Then I guess we're about to find out who's on the right side of justice. Neither of us spoke at this critical juncture. We raised our swords and prepared for one last strike. Suddenly, there came a whistle of air followed by an almost inaudible thud. Crap. Thought I had more time. The instant I saw that quivering arrow shaft sticking out from the ground, I knew my best laid plans had gone up in smoke. I'd been busted by the Goody Two-Shoe Squad, and I didn't need to guess who was part of that team. Tweyen, Lyria, Vern, and of course, the captain. Tweyen reached me first, and alighted gracefully by my side.
Now that's weird. No one consulted me about dragging it out into the wilderness to murder him.
No, really, what could I say? The rest of the group came sprinting over while I got chewed out.
Especially after Seofon's level 100 Fate episode, he's all like, I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you guys and show you all that I can be trusted. And then after like the Stardust Town thing, he's like, oh, I'm sorry for deceiving you guys, I'll make it up to you and show you I can be trusted. And it's like, you're not helping your own case, buddy.
That's enough, Seofon! Why are you two trying to hurt each other? Yeah, what's got into you guys? We're all supposed to be friends!
Look, we've still got a situation here. Don't come any closer.
Knock it off, dummy!
the woo.
It took a second for the slap to register, but when it did, oh boy, did it sting. The others stood there in uncomfortable silence, unsure if it was wise to speak.
You still trust me?
Knowing when to cut your losses is a valuable skill. Nothing more I could do but sheath my sword. The captain had this uncanny ability to inspire hope when the chips were down. I swear I could see this heroic aura glowing around them. Ever since I first met the captain, I could always rely on them as a bedrock of integrity. If I ever stumbled down a hole and vanished from the face of the Sky Realm, the Eternals and the world would continue chugging along without a hiccup under their lead.
Okay, but that's incorrect. It says, ever since I first met the captain, I could always rely on them as a bedrock of integrity. No, when you first met the captain, you were suspicious of them too and challenged them to a fight.
So back to the question. Did I still trust the captain? There was only one answer to that. Yeah, I still trust you. 110%. My beef with the Dragon Kid was all but cooked. I never have and never will lose faith in the captain. Now it was time for me to put that faith to the test.
I mean, a lot of people like to ship Gran with Seofon. But man, this is kind of dumb, the way they wrote this. He didn't even really learn his lesson. Like, he didn't even, like, acknowledge that he was wrong. He's just like, oh, I guess I trust the captain. I guess I just have to go along with it now. Yeah, Seofon would be like, let me just make some stuff up. A fierce duel erupts between Seofon and Id, each man fighting for their lives and motives. Id appears defeated, but he stands up for one final attack. Before either can land the killing blow, Tweyen, Kiro, and the crew step in. He takes a harsh rebuke from Kiro before Seofon finally relents and sheathes his sword. Don't make that smug face. Don't act like nothing happened.
Well, this was awkward. I turned to Id and gave him the best I'm sorry I could muster.
Sorry I tried to murder you and nearly succeeded.
Outcome notwithstanding, this mess was on me. It was entirely within his right to stomp all over my apology, if he chose to do so.
Forget it. I still don't get that boundary thing you mentioned. But given the destructive nature of the dragon's power, I can at least see where you're coming from.
Great. Way to twist that knife into my guilty heart. He and the captain were so much alike. Super kind, yet, at times, super ruthless. A dangerous combination, to be sure.
Yeah, get his ass.
The last thing I'll say about it is this. I'm going to keep using my power for justice. I choose to believe that's what the skies intend for me. So, if you let me live a bit longer, I'd appreciate it.
Say, you ever heard the phrase, noblesse oblige? It means, those who bear great power must bear an equally great obligation. Wonder if the kids ever heard that expression before. Doesn't matter. He's the shining example of what that phrase entails. I was offering him an olive branch by laying down my arms. Of course, the captain didn't see it that way. You're always slow on the uptake, came the harsh rebuke. Don't get me wrong, Id. You haven't earned my complete trust yet. But if the captain says you're good, then you're good. For your sake, I suggest you don't lose their trust at any cost. It looked like he wanted to get something off his chest.
This is going to sound silly, but I'm jealous of the rapport between you and the captain.
I don't know if you would call it a report at this point.
What do you mean? Jealous? You lost me there. Captain acts like a saint to everyone except moi. I'm treated like the scum that gets scooped out of a fish tank.
Well, treat others the way you want to be treated, Seofon. I'm just saying.
Now I've gone and made myself sad.
You're special. No one else gets the same level of snark or ribbing that you do. Isn't that worth something? You guys share an affinity beyond regular crewmates. I'd go so far as to call it familial.
Wow, they're really pushing this Seofon grand agenda.
Yeah? Huh. That, never occurred to me. I mulled it over in my head. Yeah, like the way siblings squabble, right? I totally play the big brother role to a T.
More like younger.
Huh? But age-wise, that wouldn't make any sense. I swear I just saw a figment of Tweyen smirking at me. Curse you, kid, for spoiling the mood. Curse you!
And thus Seofon became its greatest rival. It accepts Seofon's apology for trying to kill him. The young man understands Seofon's motive and he recognizes the risk associated with his power, but he's determined to use it for good. Although their philosophies may differ, both men are aware of the great responsibility that comes with great power. Seofon doesn't completely trust Id yet, but he's willing to take a chance on him.
Hey, Seofon! This letter came for you!
Awesome. Thanks a bundle, Lyria.
Hey, Duckaroo, thank you so much for following me, being a froggy friend.
Once we'd returned to town, I had drafted a report about the Id kerfuffle and sent it off to Anra. My hands trembled ever so slightly as I unsealed the envelope and my pulse began to quicken. Must have been the stress over the response that lay waiting within. I hadn't sugarcoated any of the details. I judged Id to be a threat and attempted to eliminate him. But the captain's steadfast guidance helped me cool my head. Me in the old days would have been like, slay first, ask later. The leader of the Eternals is always right. I cringed at the recollection of my former pig-headed self. But on to the letter.
You in the old days, you were acting like that literally just now. This man has no self-awareness.
Dear Seofon, I read your report with rapt interest. I get the sense you're conflicted about your personal development over the years. I don't know how helpful this may prove to be, but I'd like to offer my perspective. People change all the time. That shouldn't come as any surprise. As we've seen with Foer and Seox, the Eternals are no exception. It's safe to say the Captain's influence is largely responsible for altering the paths we've taken. Even an old coot such as myself has managed to learn new tricks. As far as I'm concerned, the Eternals have changed for the better. By that logic, you would simply be the newest member to undergo a long overdue transformation. You made a decision as expected of a leader, and no one can argue with that. Sincerely, Anra.
So now they've mentioned almost every Eternal by name now, because in Narmaya's Fate episode she mentions Iata and Fiumph. The only one no one's mentioned Thrio. 3O's just kind of off in her own thing. She doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Well, I guess no one mentioned Neo either.
No one understands me like you do, old friend. Looks like Anra was letting my bonehead mistake slide without too much of a fuss. At least this time, anyway. That was a small weight off my shoulder. People change all the time, he said. It sounded so obvious. But hey, when you're right, you're right.
Hey, Seofon! Come help us, lazy bones!
It's always nice to feel wanted. Your wish is my command.
Hey, there's no close quotation marks on that sentence.
It would seem my trials and tribulations had only just begun. Before leaving this skydom, I'd need to perform a spectacular deed to erase my name from the captain's crap list. A lazy bones, am I? I don't hear anyone else getting called lazy bones. But wait, so wouldn't that make me special?
This guy has no self-awareness.
I feel warm and fuzzy inside.
I got a stack of apology letters.
Well then, so long.
Unsatisfied with simply speaking his apologies, Seofon asks Tweyen to transcribe his words of contrition and send them to his comrades for their records. Kiro's apology letter was especially long and eloquent. As a condition to help him write the letters, Tweyen stipulated that every letter end with the following line: "I'll do my best not to make the same mistake twice." Okay, but he's already made this mistake like 3 or 4 times now. Boundary imprint. Boundary. True King. Thanks for the stretch, Kieran. I appreciate it. Actually, let's see what his color combinations look like. He's got a pink one. Look at that one. Oh, it's like, I think it's, is this supposed to be Jita's combination? This is Gran's color, so this is Jita's color. Oh, and this is the Blue Knight. Oh, he does have the blue hair one. I didn't buy color palette 9 for everyone because it's like $10 and it's just a pure gold palette for everyone. Doesn't seem worth it right now. Ooh, this one's pretty. It'd be nice if they gave her like a... I guess this one's no, not really. It kind of looks like one of Matera's alternate outfits, but not quite. It'd be nice if they gave her a Matera color, just to apologize to Matera for cutting her from the game. Okay, so since when we did all the other Fate episodes, I rated them. I have to say, I have to give Seofon's Fate episode maybe like a 5 out of 10. I was actually gonna give it a 4 out of 10, but I guess because it references a bunch of events in the actual mobile game, then I would give it like a 5. I'll bump it up to a 5. Yeah, maybe I should get a 7 out of 100. Because here's the thing, like, his own Fate episode paints him as the bad guy. I think if this was its Fate episode talking about Seofon being suspicious of him and then fighting Seofon, then that would make more sense. But because it paints himself as the bad guy in his own Fate episode, he doesn't even really learn his lesson. He just gives up because the captain arrives. So it's like, the Fate episodes are supposed to show us glimpses of the character's past and their personality, right? But it's like this Fate episode basically just focuses on all his negative qualities, because Seofon does have some fun parts of his personality, and we see it a little bit through his dialogue and mannerisms, but it's like they focus on all the negative aspects of his personality. And the thing is, in the mobile game, he's also already gone through the Song of Dance of finding a character, thinking they're too powerful, and then trying to eliminate them, and then the fight gets interrupted or he loses and then decides that they're worth keeping around. He does that to the captain when he first meets them. He does that to a couple other characters in the lore too. So it's just kind of like a very poor introduction to his character for someone coming in blind. Like you said in the chat, it's like you went into this not knowing much about him and then now you came out not liking him, right? Which I don't think is really the point of the Fate episode, really. It's interesting that it carries on the lore and builds off of id and like the epilogue of what happens to id, but I don't know, I think it just paints Seofon in a completely bad light all around, which is not really great. At least with Naramaya's Fate episode, where it kind of paints her in a bad light, but you can interpret it in a good light, or you can interpret the fact that she learns her lesson. He doesn't do either of that, so that's a little disappointing.
Good day.
I wonder how Tweyens are going to turn out, and I wonder if she's also kind of an equally difficult boss fight, in which case I should actually gear her up. I should read this. A top-class hunter serving as the bowmaster for the Eternals. Blessed with supernatural eyesight, she'll never miss her prey. Typically quiet, she'll talk your head off once you get to know her.
The twang of a bowstring. The cessation of a once beating heart. I knelt down quietly beside my prey and confirmed the absence of a pulse. There's no escaping the cold, ironclad law of this world, that the strong devour the weak to survive. Growing up in a backwater hunting village, the adults ingrained this irrefutable rule into our brains from the moment we could crawl. Memories of my childhood raced into my head as I wrestled the arrow from flesh and sinew. Back then, my friend and I would often trek into the perilous wilderness to compete for the largest catch. Although no records of our matches were ever kept, I can assure you that I never lost once. I had the sharpest eyes in the entire village, bar none. When I stood atop a mountain summit, not a single beast escaped my gaze. Yep, I sure was proud of my eyesight when I was a kid. Everyone in the village showered me with praise. They all agreed I was a natural-born hunter, a generational talent even. Now, I'm not going to lie. I might have let it go to my head a little. Before I realized it, my bonds with the villagers began to fray. My world, the village, felt suffocating. I took to hunting on my own as a means of improving my survival skills, to learn to be self-sufficient. Before long, I left the village behind. As someone who could pinpoint a pin in a sea of silver, the ends of the skies remained opaque to me. Oh, how I desired to know what lay beyond the shroud. I wanted to be able to see halfway around the world from where I stood. Was that so weird? Striding into my first real city was a moment unlike any other. Where did all the people come from? While my mouth feasted on savory delights, my eyes took in the vivid sights. Like a pup opening her eyes for the first time, I was flooded with wonder. What a mess of nerves and excitement I must have been. For the better part of a week, I worked tirelessly to blend in with the crowd. Couldn't let anyone find out I was a country bumpkin. The transition was seamless. I even established quite a few friendships. Life in the city was a delight, until reality finally caught up to me. One day, a colossal beast broke past the city gates. In an instant, I fired my bow with the goal of taking one life to save many. With nary a twitch, the interloper went down in a silent heap, my arrow protruding from the center of its brow. It was so quiet I thought time had stopped. None dared breathe, let alone speak. Suddenly, the entire square erupted with cheers and applause. For the first time since my arrival, I wasn't simply another face in the crowd. Riding the high, I instinctively went about field dressing the kill, right in front of everyone. Can you blame me?
Its meat and hide would have made such fabulous gifts for the city folk.
Oh, I was so naive back then. You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl.
The warm reception I had won turned absolutely frosty. From the moment I made the first incision, I realized my faux pas, but it was already too late. Friends with whom I'd stayed up many a night swapping stories over food and drink instantly severed ties with me and began to gossip behind my back. In the blink of an eye, I'd lost everything. That was the day I received my first bitter taste of isolation.
That's a lot more of her backstory than we got in her regular Fate episodes from the mobile game. Like, they mention stuff like this happening to her, but it's very, like, in passing. Blessed with first-class hunting skills, Tweyen felt restricted by her country lifestyle, so she moved to the city for a new start. One day, Tweyen felled a beast that invaded the city. Unaware of the societal norms of the current home, she began dressing the kill in public, which drew looks of horror and disgust from bystanders. This was her first taste of ostracism, one that would lead her down a path of solitude.
It's hard to identify exactly when the cynicism set in. When I started to view myself as a monster. Things are so much simpler when you're a kid. I was happy as the village's top archer, and that was that. Then I stepped outside my little bubble and was never the same again. From the new locales I visited to the strange beasts I shot down, every new experience filled me with ever-growing doubt. I questioned if there was anyone in the Sky Realm capable of matching my marksmanship. I was still proud of my hunting prowess, but the prospect of standing alone at the top left me feeling conflicted. When you're the best of the best with zero competition, who else can you relate to? The thought of total isolation terrified me the most. At times, my yearning for camaraderie bordered on the obsessive. It wasn't like I had to find a rival who was my equal in skill. I just wanted to meet someone who saw me for who I was. There had to be at least one person out there I could confide in, share my secrets with.
Sadly, most folks I met on my travels took one look at my freak talents and refused to give me the time of day.
Some were kind enough to at least pretend to like me. We'd spend time together, sharing pleasantries and laughs. I nearly fell into the trap of believing I was normal, until the fear hiding in their eyes betrayed the truth. These people stared back at me like cornered animals fearing a predator who was merely playing with her food. I began to blame myself, and grew too afraid to even give them a passing hello.
Honestly, she has more in common with id than she has stuff in common with Seofon.
Then, I finally met someone who genuinely understood what I was going through. Her name was Silva.
Yeah, Silva and Tweyen is another popular ship, which is very much supported by the game but not outright said.
She was a master sniper in her own right, and didn't give two hoots that I wasn't normal. We did everything as best friends. Eating out, shopping, the works. Whew, the bags of rubies I must have spent. Now, I'd been burned before, but this time things were going to be different.
When will I learn not to get my hopes up?
You see, Silva was hired for this routine bodyguard gig. Nothing fancy. But it all fell apart when suddenly her VIP came under attack from a horde of monsters. I saw the ambush unfold from leagues away, and without a second thought drew back my bowstring again and again. As the last of the brutes fell from my arrows, Silva stood trembling amid the carnage, her mouth agape. "She's a monster," my supposed friend uttered. Of course, I couldn't hear her words over such a vast distance, but I read it on her lips, clear as day. I'd been called that countless times by countless people. The words should have held no power over me, but this time it had hit differently, coming from someone I considered to be my first best friend. From that day on, we pretty much drifted apart. But I guess fate had other plans for us. When I joined the captain on their travels, I was shocked to learn that the woman I'd been trying so hard to avoid was also part of the crew. Silva and I finally sat down and had a heart-to-heart to clear the air. And wouldn't you know it, both of us were guilty of misjudging the other, and of acting like babies. Silva apologized for what she had said on that fateful day, even though it was totally my fault for jumping to conclusions. Hearing my first real friend speak from the heart brought me to tears. I think it was at that point when I realized I wasn't alone anymore. There was someone else standing right beside me, someone I could rely on through thick and thin. The monster who had been sentenced to a life of isolation was at long last free of her prison.
That was a very long recap compared to the other Fate episodes. Yeah, those city folk, not able to stand her dressing the kill in the middle of the city, they would never survive in Guild Wars. Everyone farming meat all over the place. As Tweyen continued to travel the skies, she wondered if anyone could match her shooting skills. Because of her monstrous abilities, she came to cynically view herself as a monster. An appraisal further exasperated when Silva, her supposed best friend, inadvertently called her one. The two friends drifted apart only to be reunited by Kiro's crew, and they both reconciled. The solitary hunter would no longer have to be alone anymore.
There are 10 of us that make up the Eternals. We're said to be the strongest fighters wielding the strongest weapons in the skies.
Thanks for dropping by, Kiros. Have a good day. We'll catch you later.
Our formidable presence alone was enough to deter conflict before it arose. So rarely did I need to draw an arrow. I joined the Eternals because I agreed with their mantra of solving disputes without bloodshed. But on a personal level, I just wanted to spend time with others who knew the pain of being ostracized for being atypical. So imagine my dismay when I discovered their penchants for being antisocial. We don't even go out for dinner together. What's up with that? Well, everyone's got their own thing going, I guess. But it's a shame we don't indulge in our hobbies together. Not all hope is lost, though. A lot of us have really opened up since we started traveling with the captain's crew. Speaking of the crew, I wonder how they're doing right now. Last time I saw them was before they left for Zega Grande Skydom. And according to the latest gossip from Onra's merchant contacts, the region was experiencing a massive uprising. When Seofon heard the news, of course he leapt into action and headed there himself. Seofen's a principled man, but sometimes he can be blinded by zeal. Like the time the 7-star sword manipulated him into attacking his fellow Eternals. Yep, including me.
Yep, you know that one time that Seofon became exactly what he feared? You know?
So, I thought I should go and keep an eye on him. It wasn't that I was worried about him, per se. Better to have extra help on hand should complications develop, you know? Besides, I was doing this as a favor to Onra, too. And as long as I was making excuses, I might as well confess. Although I never miss my target, I certainly missed the captain and the crew.
Tweyen's probably the only Eternal who has hobbies. You know what? That actually checks out. Tweyen had joined the Eternals in the hopes of finding a fun group to hang out with, but sadly for her, the Eternals aren't the sociable type. After hearing that Seofon plans to go to Zega Grande, Tweyen decides to accompany him. While she respects his sense of justice, she knows it's better to have someone around to keep his zeal in check.
Upon my arrival in Zega Grande, the crew introduced me to Id, one of their newest acquaintances. He'd been at the eye of the storm, and it wasn't hard to see he was talented. He was equally as strong as the captain. No, perhaps he had a higher ceiling. Seofon gave a big smile as he shook hands with Id, but I felt the crackle of tension in the air. Meanwhile, Id struck me as a troubled youth. Something about his mannerisms led me to believe that he too had suffered unfairly because of his power. He would have fit right in as the 11th member of the Eternals. Would it be alright if I lent a hand with your handyman tasks? Now that I was here, I decided to make myself useful. Maybe then I'd gain more insight into Id's constant self-reproach, learn the meaning behind those words he so often spoke.
I must atone for the crimes I've committed.
As the story went, the Church of Avia sought to throw this Skydom into chaos, and Id had served as one of its generals. Yet as far as I could tell, the people of Folka seemed to have already forgiven him, and were treating him as one of their own. This swordsman had made sacrifices for the well-being of others, and he appeared determined to continue doing so. I couldn't imagine anyone accusing him for not atoning enough. But in fact, there was one person capable of it. Id himself. When I heard about the dragon power that had been sealed in his body, I felt a cold chill go through my own. A fear and uncertainty. For him, it's a burden he'll have to bear for the rest of his life.
So she had a completely different experience with Id than Seofon. Once in Sega Grande, Tweyen is introduced to Id, and she volunteers to help the handyman with Volca requests. During her time working with Id, she comes to see him as a young man tormented by unrelenting guilt that worries her. Okay, let's give her some real gear. It's funny hers is called Dark Huntress because her element is light. Temporarily grants enchanted damage as well as a chance to gain supplementary damage when executing a fully charged multi-lock hail at max ultrasight level. I don't know if they're gonna make hers as tricky as Seofon's were. Here, I'll be nice and give you an Aegis Guts. Actually, no, I don't really need that. Just, oops, no. You just get a regular Aegis. You can get a stamina. She's like purely ranged, so she'll have an easier time no matter what. Dragon in sheep's clothing.
One day, Seofon and Id were called away on an emergency mission to exterminate monsters. After Seofon came back, he didn't look happy.
The guy in the background is still listening in on them in this picture, that Zothba henchman.
His power is a ticking time bomb. You want to live with endless guilt after he goes off? 'Cause I don't.
Whatever threat he saw in Id seemed to have rattled him. I didn't want to dismiss Seofon's misgivings outright, but the captain was a good judge of character. We needed to take our time getting to know Id. I'm going to withhold judgment and trust what my eyes show me. Suddenly, Seofon motioned for me to zip it. His eyes darted from side to side, then he left without a word. How odd. Had someone been eavesdropping on us?
I wonder.
At any rate, I had to step up my surveillance on Id. And what better way to stick close to Id without raising suspicion than by joining the Fix-It team? Now, when Id said he did everything, he was not exaggerating. I giggled at the thought of the stone-faced bruiser tackling some of these jobs. Monster slaying? Of course. Finding a missing dog? I could see him doing that. Dishing out love advice? Oh, to be a fly on that wall. Helping the townspeople was a welcome break from the family Zothba's incessant interviews. To think the Eternal's exploits have made it this far west. Anra and Seofon sure know how to leverage our brand. As Zothba likes to say, business is business. I shared info about the Eternals. He gave me the scoop on Id. Turns out, his home on Dali Island was destroyed in a catastrophe 15 years ago. In the aftermath, he found himself adopted by the church, along with other foster brothers and sisters. Knowing that he hadn't grown up alone was of some relief to me, though I couldn't exactly tell you why. Regardless, I kept hacking away at the ever-expanding list of errands demanded of a handyman. One day, Id set out on an emergency request, and this time I followed. We'd come to Dali, his old stomping grounds. From my vantage point in the air, I scanned the vast, sweeping desert with my monstrous eyes until I spotted our client amid a gaggle of fiends. Id, move to your 9! Hurry! My partner charged forward while I secured the rear. I'm saved! That was a little too close. As I tried to calm the shaking woman, I noticed a haphazard trail of loose boxes and cartons leading away from us. No doubt created during her desperate attempt to flee. I'll go collect your cargo. Id, will you stay here and I was turning to look his way just as he cleaved a monster leaping out of the sand. He simply nodded back. I think I was becoming a fan. Alrighty then. Time for this archer to wrap things up with a great big bow.
Ha 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 ha. I thought you said you didn't like puns, Tweyen.
My associate Id will keep you safe while I collect your stuff. Be right back.
Oh, it's one of these quests.
Thank you.
Go on. I got this.
Good thing I can fly, so it feels like I'm gliding on the sand.
Watch it, Tweyen! Big bad wolves! These pups are in for a rough time. Tempest arrows! From every angle! Might be useful. Let's start with the first piece. Alrighty, on to number 2.
Being so mobile and being ranged at the same time feels really good.
I sure hope nothing's happened to our merchant while we were gone.
Oh, there's one down there.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. She's got the best bodyguard around.
Hey Mabu, welcome to the stream.
I was just thinking to myself that I could use a brand new belt. Get back! I've got you now! Looks like this one is history. Let's see now. There you are.
Okay. She dislikes bad puns. Therefore, she thinks all her own puns are good. There has to be a logic in that. She doesn't really do the pun thing that much in the mobile game. Like, maybe a little bit, but not that much. Like, Shiro Card is the character I think of when I think of puns. It's kind of like how like Vane doesn't talk about muscles and working out all the time in the mobile game. That's just something specific to the English localization.
Look up! Look up! They're above you!
Finally, I can hit flying enemies.
I'll take them all out in one foul swoop. Tempest of arrows! As the saying goes, birds of a feather die together. Uh-huh.
Vern's just like, sure. Oh, I destroyed the merchant cart. I'm sorry.
No mercy. Think that's everything. Ah, sweet. Let's head back.
Hey Juga, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by today. Tweyen's pretty fun to play. I can see your hands getting very tired playing her for a long period of time, though.
Get away, you fiend!
Help me!
Wait, is that the merchant that
Come on.
that was in Seofon's Fate episode?
Covering. Get back! Nothing like having your own hand to hold the fort.
You think that because she can fly, I would have like the ability to like airwalk or something like that, but I don't.
They just keep coming. But we'll show them who's boss. From every angle. Rain from
Oh, there's still an enemy over here. I was waiting for the next enemies to arrive.
I've got you now. Your fate was sealed from the very moment I laid eyes on you.
Come on, aim in the air.
You tricked me! You're a monster in sheep's clothing!
Wow, not cool, lady. It's busting out all the stops to protect from every
Wipe them out! Stay where you are and don't move. We'll keep you safe no matter what.
Oh no, the merchant card is actually dying.
Wha-bam! Down for the count!
It looks all clear to me. I'm not seeing any more foes.
Thank goodness.
Are you sure that guy's on the level? You saw him turn into that monster too, didn't you?
There was that word again. It's all right. You've nothing to worry about. We'd slain every last enemy and secured the woman's safety, but that did nothing to soothe her nerves. I caught Id's gaze for the briefest instant before he quickly looked away. He's not your enemy, he's a friend. He used his power in order to keep you safe. It was no use. Prejudice had already clogged her ears.
Sorry.
With a subdued apology, Id turned on his heel and headed for the ship. This likely wasn't the first time he'd experienced persecution, nor would it be the last. Once Id left the scene, the client seemed to snap out of her hysteria.
I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me.
I felt compelled to say something, but my mind drew a blank. The woman opened her mouth to speak, though nothing came out. In the end, she simply kept her eyes glued to the spot where it had stood. Change wasn't going to happen overnight, but I chose to be optimistic.
Hey CB, welcome in. Yeah, Tweyen floats in midair. Apparently, it seems like all the strongest archers in the Granblue universe also know how to fly.
Need something?
Just like how all the strongest Harvins in the Granblue universe seem to float in the air. Except for Yoda. Seofon tries to convince Tweyen that they need to silence Id before he becomes an unstoppable force, but Tweyen persuades Seofon to give Id more time. Later, Tweyen and Id rescue a merchant from monsters. Id had transformed into his dragon form during the fight, and his brute power terrified the merchant so greatly she spoke ill of the rescuer.
As we pulled into Fulka, I saw a throng of people lined up along the dock awaiting Id's return. Some jumped up and down while others waved in jubilation. There were a few grumpy faces in the crowd, though I'm not sure why. Unlike Id, they weren't afraid of expressing their emotions. The man of the hour himself was taken aback by the hero's welcome. Nevertheless, I saw a sliver of a smile creep across his face. He'd touched the hearts of many serving as Fulka's handyman. Not a single one of the grateful residents saw him as a monster. Having had the pleasure of working with Id, I was able to draw several conclusions. He wasn't big on words, and when he did speak, it was short and to the point. Yet he never brandished his attitude with the intention of causing harm. I sensed no bitter embers of resentment smoldering within him, nor did I sense a deep-seated grudge for the hand he was dealt. His positive reputation stood as a testament to his unwavering resolve. Be that as it may, Seofon was correct in treating Id's destructive power as a threat. People who didn't know him would easily mistake his power as a tool for evil. And that's before it had even reached its fullest potential. Right. The Dolly catastrophe. According to Roland, the force that devastated Dolly over a decade ago now courses through Id's veins. That power of destruction had already carved its place in history. The future is not mine to predict. However, I am an Eternal, and I have an obligation to ensure that the world remains at peace.
When Tweyen and Id pull into Folka's port, a large crowd of townspeople is on hand to welcome Id home. Id has earned his place in Folka, and not a single person is afraid of his dragon counterpart. Nevertheless, Tweyen knows Id's power has the potential to threaten the world. She travels to Dolly Island in a bid to better understand his power.
Dolly was empty. Not that I expected visitors. My only company was the occasional gust of wind that blew in to kick up dust. In the hubbub of trying to keep the client safe, I hadn't had the chance to soak in the scenery. Broken structures from the disaster 15 years ago lay half buried amid the ruins, like sunken ships in a sea of sand. I spotted a rusted seesaw, forced to retire from ever lifting another gleeful passenger. A sigh escaped my lips. After cresting a dune, I came to a stop and reflected on my own mission. How was I supposed to handle Id from the perspective of the Eternals? Was I to judge this man so beloved by his community, simply because he harbored the potential for catastrophe? I was so lost in thought that I didn't realize I wasn't alone anymore.
This used to be my neighborhood.
What was he holding? Flowers?
Oh. These.
Turns out he made frequent trips to Dolly to pay respect to the fallen.
Lilith found me here. My real parents were probably... already...
He looked down at his feet as he continued.
This wasteland is Versa's legacy. The dragon that was sealed within me. And now his power and I are inseparable.
Id himself wasn't to blame for the catastrophe. That much I knew for certain. But with such devastation quietly resting within him, it was hard to let things slide. Not to mention, he did have a record of going berserk before joining the crew. Power and responsibility go hand in hand. I had to make a decision soon.
With great power comes great responsibility. Tweyen gazes out at the ruins of Dolly alone with her thoughts until Id, who had come to pay his respects to the fallen of his hometown, appears. He explains to her that the Dolly catastrophe occurred as a result of Versa being sealed within him. Although Tweyen sympathizes with Id's plight, she still has to decide what to do about him.
There's nothing inherently wrong about wanting to get stronger. But when you're blasting away entire villages with the snap of a finger, that's where I draw the line. In the beginning, I saw a bit of myself in Id. People shunned my extreme abilities, and I retreated into my shell because of it. He, however, had a strong support system in place to prop him up. It hurts to admit that I was once beguiled by my own weapon, the two-crown bow. Id, as he is right now, wouldn't have fallen for that trickery. Still, I had to be sure. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Let's say you were facing down the ultimate villain, and the only way to win was to lose yourself to the dragon's power. Would you take that chance?
If that's what it takes to save lives, then yeah. I'd use that power in a heartbeat.
So he was ready to put his life on the line for others. Good to know. After a short pause, he added a caveat.
Because even if worst comes to worst, I know the captain will knock me on my ass if I screw up.
With that, he stared off into the desert sky, which seemed to stretch into eternity. I couldn't help but smile. Winning people over when you're on an entirely different playing field is no easy feat. Believe me, I know. He'll tolerate the jeers, the scorn, and the acrimony, but he'll never tolerate his failure to help others. It was finally clear what I had to do.
Clash of the Titans. While its situation is similar to the isolation Tweyen experienced when she first set on her own, it has had a vast support system she never did. Thanks to that, Tweyen is confident he won't go down the wrong path. When it is asked if he'd use his power against the ultimate evil, he replies he'd put his life on the line to save people. With that answer, Tweyen knows what she has to do. Okay, I should have an extra slot here. Let's get some critical. I'll leave her weapon at level 50. There's no way her fight is going to be harder than Seofon's. And it's kind of fun to have a little bit of a challenge. Oh, Galanza! That's not what I expected.
Upon my return to Seed Hollow, a member of the family Zothba dropped off a letter for me, and I wasted no time in reading it. I could feel the author's disdain in every word.
I mean, Galanza appeared in Gandagoza's Fate episodes, but after he gets defeated, he doesn't really say anything. He just kind of disappears from the story, so...
I hereby challenge Tweyen of the Eternals to a duel. You can't hide your plot against it from me! Meet me at Seed Hollow Castle, now. Former commander of the Silver Wolf Corps, Galanza.
Galanza. Aw, I mean, I know he's probably just doing this because he wants a good fight, but he's also trying to protect Id. That's actually kind of sweet.
Okay. Not sure who this Galanza person was, but we both knew it, apparently. I smelled a trap.
Although, I would think it would have made more sense for Tweyen to be fighting Magliel, but Magliel appeared in Zeta's episode.
On the other hand, if Id was involved in some way, then I had no choice but to investigate. When I arrived at the castle, a domineering draft motioned me over.
Well, well. You must be Tweyen.
As soon as I gave him a curt nod, he leveled his spear at me. He was definitely the mysterious author of that letter.
I knew you wouldn't leave me hanging.
He roared with laughter, eyes fixed on me like daggers. You mentioned a plot against Id. Would you care to elaborate? Suddenly, the man wasn't laughing anymore. He accused the Eternals of plotting to assassinate Id, whom he saw as a younger brother.
Aww. I wonder who in the Eternals would be plotting to assassinate Id, and would give Galanza the idea that Id was about to be assassinated.
So Sovan's instincts had been right. There had been someone eavesdropping on our conversation. Now that I think about it, that was around the time the family Zothba started peppering me with questions. We should have been more careful before speaking so candidly. Still, the discussion to eliminate Id had occurred before we had all the facts. I needed to clear this up.
Did it though? Meanwhile, Seofon, elsewhere.
This is all a misunderstanding. Galanza snorted and readied his weapon. Anything I had to say would be a waste of breath. I knew the type. Too proud to admit wrongdoing. The only language they understood was combat.
Like a certain sword-wielding sovereign.
All right, Buster. Your funeral.
Step on up! It's time for the death match of your life! You better bring it!
Don't expect me to go easy on you.
Nobody pays a target on his head and gets away with it! Nobody! You can take your reasons and shove it!
Okay, I should stop trying to hit him. Oh god.
Just catch your breath. With all my might.
Okay, her movement is actually really slow, actually. I didn't realize this. Like, her mobility is good once she breaks off into the sprint. But when you just start moving, it's pretty low. It's hard to, like, attack, dodge, attack, dodge, attack, dodge. You leave me alone for a little bit?
That was nothing. Now where was I?
Ow.
I got you. No mercy.
The Eternals don't disappoint!
For someone in such hot water, you don't seem to feel the heat at all.
Marshal Spear! Dance for me!
Ah, damn it! I might actually need to actually upgrade my equipment for real. I think I'm getting hit every time I try to hit him with my skills because she has a startup. I need to just stop trying to get the skills off. Okay, this isn't working. I need to actually, like, be strong. That's gonna take forever. Okay, I think I overestimated her abilities, because it's very... I think in a party, she's fantastic, but then in one-on-one, it's like... the skills just take too much time to go off.
Let me show you what's perfect. It can be tempered even more now. Leave it to me. Not bad, is it? Take care.
Love it. Good. Practice makes perfect. Great.
That should be fine. I don't want to overdo it. I still want a little bit of a challenge. Maybe one more sigil slot.
Good. Love it. Great. Ooh. Nice. Great. Good. Nice. Ooh.
Oh, I think I overdid it. She's at 90%. I think I went too high. I'll just give her crit rate. I won't do the tyranny. Guess I could also do these.
A good bow requires good maintenance. A good hunter trusts their weapon. Breathe calmly, and the bow will take care of the rest. With this little beauty, no one's escaping me. You have to treat your bow like a friend.
Need something?
Upon my return to Seed Hollow,
Step on up! It's time for the deathmatch of your life! You better bring it!
don't expect me to go easy on you.
Nobody paints a target on its head and gets away.
He does way less damage to me now.
You can take your reasons and shove it. Don't get your trash into my Skyam Eternal!
Just try to run. I've got you now.
Oh, I think I'm doing too much damage now. For my liking. Lean on.
Get back.
You like a punch! The Eternals don't disappoint!
For someone in such hot water, you don't seem to feel the heat at all.
Oh, can you stop stun locking me? He looks so funny chasing after me. Hi, Maglio. Oh. But I was in the middle of my attack. Oh, hi.
Is this a waltz of warriors? On guard!
Okay, maybe it is a good thing I actually upgraded myself.
I'll berate you later.
If I was still at base level, this would not be very good.
Ooh, another rabbit has entered the fray.
Got your blades in order?
But of course.
if it can break! Yeah!
And we shall break it! Come, let's end this!
Silvertail Ball!
You can't get caught in that. Now where was I?
You couldn't be so kind.
Ah, I've got you, Maggie! My shadow! Here!
Get back!
Answer me this! Fire!
Perhaps
God,
for the same
I can't do
reason
anything.
you are here, Galanda. It is like a kid
My
brother
target
of
keeps
ours.
changing.
I'll be damned if I did nothing to stop him from being murdered.
Can't straight! Not today!
Oh, my target keeps changing back to Magliel.
I see right through you! Lose focus!
Are we having fun?
Oh no! Now where was I?
Why does my target keep changing back to Magliel? Okay, I'll just... No lock on.
Now where was I?
Not faster than me.
I can't do that. This kind of sucks. You stop juggling me. Okay, I literally can't get that one off yet. Okay. Wait, I'm hitting Magliel too. Dang. Oh no, I got him. A
wounded beast is deadly dangerous. I must be extra vigilant. Center your breathing.
No, stop it.
Let's not leave them wanting. Now for the encore. General Galanda?
Back it up! This show's over!
Income.
Get him. Eat shit.
You better stay cautious. Watch
I can't see my camera. Please. Stop knocking me against the wall. There we go.
I shall carry the torch.
From every angle! I've got you now!
On our greatest heart! Get it, prepare yourself!
Here's a gift!
Okay, this is a much better matchup. Tweyen versus Magliel is a much better matchup than Galanza. Dang it. I tried to charge up, but I let go of the button. AoE all the weapons.
I don't miss. You're finished. I'll pierce your heart.
Eternals are tough. I can't believe you're pushing us into a corner.
This hunter never fails to catch her prey.
Yeah, Galanza is good at using melee weapons as ranged weapons, honestly. Oh, during her attack.
Fools, you are not worthy.
Goodness. That ranks as one of my top 5 hardest fights.
Thanks for the stretch. I think Tweyen's really fun, but I would not want to do I don't want to do more one-on-one fights with her. It's a good thing I exited out and actually upgraded her, because I feel like the 2-on-1 would not have worked on me if I was still at level 50 base level 50 weapon, or level 85 character, level 50 weapon, and only half my skill tree. It was fun for Seofon, but not in this case it would not have been fun.
The 2 mysterious attackers were on the ropes, but they hadn't lost their spirit.
I'm glad that Magliel appeared though, because I was just saying that it felt like she got left out of this one.
It's gonna mop the floor with you. You should have brought every Eternal with you if you wanted to stand a chance.
It's sweet to see these two defending id.
I'd sleep better if we could have at least taken one of them out.
It wasn't the loss itself they lamented, but rather their inability to protect someone important to them. I was relieved to know they weren't bad people.
Yeah, these are totally not bad people.
So I did the only thing I could think of to diffuse the tension. I smiled. As I was trying to say before, this is a big misunderstanding. I'm on your side, and I intend to stand up for it.
And there's no way anyone from the Eternals would ever try to assassinate id. Right?
Once they realized I wasn't going to take their heads, they finally decided to believe me. There was only one hurdle left in id's way, and its name was Seofon.
Well, I want to hear more dialogue from Magliel and Galanza.
Hello.
Tweyen is challenged to a duel by Galanza at Seed Hollow Castle. She tries to reason with him, but is forced to fight when Galanza won't budge. The battle is fierce, made worse by Magliel joining the fray, but Tweyen prevails against the pair. They'd only just been trying to protect Id, who they view as a little brother. When Tweyen explains she's on their side, they finally back down. Aw, I knew they would just fast forward to the next scene. I want to see Magliel and Galanza more.
I tracked down the captain in Seed Hollow and gave them the rundown. Perhaps uncoincidentally, Seofon and Id were both missing.
And then Vern's doing the oh face again.
Visions of a bloodbath flooded my mind, and I admonished my overactive imagination. We had to find those two before grave mistakes were made, ones that could never be corrected. Unfortunately for us, Seofon did a stellar job of covering his tracks. His precautions proved that this time, he meant business. What we needed was a clue. Oh. There was an entire business devoted to gathering intel right here in Seed Hollow. How could I forget? They were the ones who facilitated the castle duel in the first place. I figured I was owed a favor for having to deal with that inconvenience. The captain and I entered Zothba's tavern right as an informant returning from Folka was reporting on the whereabouts of our missing boys. The family still held open distrust for the Eternals, but as always, the captain put in a good word for me. We rushed to Einstedo Archipelago. What would have taken dozens of spotters hours to comb the chain of islands, I surveyed in seconds. There they were, in Skyworm Valley. Hard to miss the flash of sparks erupting off of clashing steel.
There they are, in one of the only places in this map that looks like an arena for a boss fight.
That's enough! I fired an arrow that landed squarely between the two, stopping them in their tracks. The surprise on Seofon's face dissipated in a split second. He knew the jig was up. Seofon didn't know it, nor had I felt the need to tell him, but Onra gave me special instructions before coming to Sega Grande. If our leader decided to take matters into his own hands, the duty to stop him fell to me.
There's little Seofon can't fix, given how strong he is. I fully expect him to try and solve everything by himself.
Now that's weird. No one consulted me about dragging it out into the wilderness to murder him. Don't get me wrong, Seofon. I know the responsibility of keeping the world safe is a heavy one. I should have done more to talk things out with you, so we could come up with a solution that would please everybody. But as the saying goes, all's well that ends well. Maybe now we can finally set aside our differences and have an honest chat over a warm meal.
Yeah, I feel like Onra is just kind of playing both sides here, because he kind of told Seofon, like, do what you needs to be done. Sometimes, you know, taking an objective approach means that you earn the ire of other people. And then he turns to Tweyen and he's like, watch out for that guy. Stop him if you need to. I know that's an oversimplification, but that's the way it's kind of coming across. Tweyen reports her findings to Kiro. They learn that Seofon and Id were last seen heading out to Einstedo Archipelago. Tweyen spots the two in Skyworm Valley, embroiled in a fight to the death. She fires an arrow between the two, stopping the fight and allowing the crew to resolve the matter. I'm glad we did Seofon's first, because I feel like if you do Tweyen's first, it kind of like takes the wind out of Seofon's sails.
Gosh, thanks for taking the time to come talk to me. I was kinda hoping to make an apology to Id today.
The same woman who had been terrified of her savior had hired me to give her advice. Imagine that. Me, a counselor. If I ever got tired of the Eternals gig, I think I'd make a great Miss Fix-It. Case in point, my master plan was about to come to fruition.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
What? What's he doing here?
An awkward silence followed as the woman looked at me, pleading for a lifeline. Nope, you're on your own. But I did give her an encouraging smile. Got plenty of those. Realizing my lips were sealed, the woman timidly faced Id. She gathered her courage and spoke from the heart. She expressed regret for the abuses she had hurled at her rescuer. She'd been trying to find the nerve to apologize ever since. Little by little, she laid bare her true feelings.
I'm mortified by my appalling behavior. Please accept my heartfelt apologies. The next time I need a bodyguard, the job's all yours. I won't hire anyone but you.
The sudden change in the woman's demeanor was as evident as the surprise on Id's face.
Sure. Thanks.
Oh, was that a hint of pink I saw in his cheeks? Well, I was an archery expert, not a people expert. I never knew what to say at times like these. It's interesting how the little things can spur big changes in our relationships with others. Watching new bonds form in real time was a treat. Sometimes, all it takes for two hearts to beat in harmony is the twang of a bowstring.
Tweyen, can you see into the future?
Who's to say? Personally, I'd say he hit the bullseye.
Well then, so long.
This postcard was sent to Tweyen from a certain merchant on her travels throughout Zega Grande. On the front is a gorgeous sketch that could have come from amateur hands, or that couldn't have come from amateur hands. On the back are expressive, lovingly crafted passages that also include a message from rival merchant Shiro Karte. It seems the three ladies have established a regular correspondence. Whenever Tweyen looks at this postcard, which she had pinned to her wall, she bursts into a big smile at the thought of a new friendship she made in Zega Grande. Revenant weapon. I feel like Tweyen's Fate episodes, I have to give it a higher score than Seofon's. I'll give her a 6 out of 10. Mostly because I like, on one hand, I like that it gave us like the other side of Seofon's story, which again paints him in a bad light. But on the other hand, it'd be nice if her story was separate from his as well, instead of being intertwined with his. It's a good thing we did Seofon's first, because I think that that's the correct order to do them in. I do like that it had Magliel and Galanza in it though, and that it shows like their feelings for Id and wanting to protect him, which is kind of sweet. I wish, again, they had more screen time or more things to say afterwards, but that's just the nature of them being unplayable characters. So I'll take that. But again, I would have preferred it if Seofon and Tweyen had actual Fate episodes that just concentrate on their own character development. It feels more, again, like just another epilogue for Id, which again could be the point of it as well. So I can't exactly fault it. It is kind of an interesting take on it, especially since as Eternals, it kind of plays into the whole like protect the skies thing. The whole like protect the skies, yet we were absent for the entire main story of this game type of feel. Tweyen is definitely pretty fun to play as. Again, one-on-one fights, maybe not so much, but she's pretty fun to play as, and I'm glad that the fights we had today were actually kind of challenging, even with me choosing to make it harder on myself by not actually leveling up my new characters and then just throwing them in there to see how they would do. But it was kind of a neat opportunity to just try them out without actually having experienced how to play them, and just dive right into it. It's a good thing that I ended up upgrading Tweyen, because when Magliel joined the fray, there's no way I would have done that at base level and no skills unlocked. As opposed to Seofon, where I just barely got by with the skin of my teeth because it was still a one-on-one. But that was fun. Helio Saffron, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate it. And Noxus Menace as well. I can't remember if I said thank you to you, but thank you so much for coming by. I was probably concentrating too much on the battle at the time. I kind of want to see what the exercise emotes look like for our new characters. Don't mind me, just doing this in the middle of the street.
4, 5, 6.
Oh, come on, at least go up to 7. That's your number.
Gotta hit the abs.
Him doing that with the cape on is kind of funny.
Easy peasy.
He sounds so out of breath. Come on, man, you're like supposed to be the strongest man in the skies.
Tweyen, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's kind of cute. He's counting in Eternals. Not that time. What about Tweyen? She like floats. So how does she do the emotes? Oops. Oh, she just drops to the ground.
Let's do it.
What a workout!
I kind of wanted to see her like do it in midair with the bow as her ground or something like that.
Okay.
That's not a sit-up, but I'll take it. I don't want to go through all the characters, but I feel like there's a couple other hidden gems here if you keep doing these with all the characters. That's cute. Hey, Kiro from the future here, shortly after I ended stream. I forgot there was one thing I didn't show off. So when I was on stream and I unlocked some of the skill trees for Seofon and Tweyen, they unlocked a new skill, and I just didn't show it off. So I'll show it here because it's kind of cool. 7 stars Brilliance. Maxes out the entire party's skybound gauges. Has a wait time at the start of battle before it could be cast exactly once. Isn't that pretty cool? Look at him charging up. So in the mobile game, all the Eternals get a 4th skill when they reach level 100. It's a really powerful skill for each of them, but it can only be used once, and it cannot be used for the first 10 turns of battle. So this is Siete's. In the game, Siete is known for buffing up his allies' skybound gauges, so this is kind of where that comes from. So it's kind of a nice little nod to it. I'm sure there's a lot of uses for it here, plus the fact that it could be used once is kind of a nice way to counteract that in terms of game balance. I also wanted to mention that I was talking about Seofon's Fate episodes and ways it could be changed, and I was thinking about how they did Siegfried's Fate episodes, if they want to do something like that, because Siegfried is also extremely powerful in the lore, arguably on the same level as Seofon, and the way they went about doing his Fate episode was like, you know, he was looking at all those other soldiers and kind of like helping them from the sidelines, and he got a little bit of character development by doing that. So I would have liked to see something like that to show off Seofon's personality instead of the whole id situation. But again, I kind of understand because you need to unlock Seofon and Tweyen after having completed the main story, so that means they have the liberty to actually have a story that takes place entirely after the main story, instead of a lot of other people's Fate episodes which take place intermittently during the main story or towards the end of the main story. So Tweyen also gets 2 Crown Strife. Fires a volley of arrows at a foe, prolongs duration of inflicted debuffs on hit. Has a wait time at the start of battle before it can be cast exactly once. So this is the skill I was actually talking about when we were playing around with her in practice mode. The one that in the mobile game lets her extend her debuffs. So usually people use it to extend her paralyze on foes, because otherwise a lot of times foes will get immunity to paralyze once you do it to them one time. So extending it the first time is of a great deal of help to the rest of the raid party. So here I can kind of see where that goes. And I did see that when I was playing as Tweyen against Magliel, I was able to inflict paralysis on them by using my skybound attacks. So this would be very useful. Kind of interesting to see maybe where these two characters are going to affect the meta of the game, or if they will affect the meta of the game. Possibly only for like certain battles like Lucilius, for example, or Proto Bahamut, if you time these skills like very properly. Anyways, I just thought that was kind of neat and should have been included in the video, so there you go. Alright, so I'll probably spend my time again leveling up our new characters, farming the behemoth off stream. I'll probably eventually farm Lucilius, I just haven't. I'll probably do it whenever the boys are available so we can actually do it together as a group, because that looks like fun. But that seems like everything for this patch update. It's good. I'm looking forward to the Seofon patch in May, because I do like him as a character, so I think I'll slot him as my 4th slot when I don't need Gran as a healer. And he's probably going to come with a couple like challenging Fate episode fights of his own, especially if I don't fully upgrade him either. So that'll be fun. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining me here on this Saturday afternoon. Again, not our usual stream time, but I'm happy you guys could stop by. And tomorrow we'll continue playing more Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes from where we left off yesterday. Oops. Yeah, thanks everyone. Let's find someone to raid. Let's see here. It looks like Yui's doing a 2-year anniversary celebration and birthday. So let's go drop in on Yui. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. And for anyone new around here, feel free to check out all my social media. Usually Twitter is where I announce all my streams, and on YouTube you'll find all of my previous stream VODs as well, including getting up to like 90 or so different games and over almost 1,000 videos. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. Thanks guys, take care, have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye Froggy friends.